Peoria Stadium has always been a showcase of speed. For over 100 years, this venue has hosted lots of speedy things, racetracks, horse races. Tonight, we'll see a very fast football game between the Peoria High Lions and the Normal West Wildcats in a high-flying Big 12 matchup in our WMBD Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. Jonathan Michael here alongside Luke Young in the booth. And Luke, this is going to be a very fun matchup to watch. It's one that always delivers year in and year out.
Yeah, that's right. This matchup is pretty historic. We've seen some defensive battles. We've seen some offensive battles. And I think tonight it'll fall in the latter category. I think we'll see some offense here tonight. Both teams are super high-powered offensive teams, and we'll see that here tonight in Peoria Stadium.
Definitely. Grab your popcorn tonight, folks. Going to see a lot of electrifying players out there for both sides. But, Luke, talking about both teams and where they're at right now, Peoria High, expectations coming into the year were extremely high. They brought so many returners back, they want to go to state.
Yeah, and they're looking to win state. I mean, they lost to a good Morris team earlier this year, but that is a high-powered Morris team. And if you're Coach Montgomery, you're looking at that saying, hey, we can compete with the best, and I think that's a positive outcome even though they lost.
Definitely not a bad loss at all. And for Normal West, they're 2-2, but they have a case. They might be the best 2-2 team in the entire state. They've had a very tough schedule so far, coming off a close one against Bloomington. They still have high expectations as well.
Yeah, 2-2. I think it doesn't do them justice at all. They're on a tough road stretch here, but I think, like you said, they're the best 2-2 team in the nation, or not in the nation, the state, excuse me. And then after this, they got a pretty much an easy schedule on the way, so I think they'll go winning out after this 2-2 start, but we'll see how they play here tonight.
Could be a big win for the Wildcats. Also could be a big one for the Lions. Two big cat teams battling out here. It's going to be a cage fight in a phone booth tonight at Peoria Stadium. We'll be right back after this in our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com.
Yeah, we're not very happy with where we're at. I think if you would have talked to us at the beginning of the year, we thought we'd be 4-0 at this point. Quite simply, we just haven't made enough plays and done the right things. Put ourselves in position to win two of those games in the second half. It's a talented group. It's a group that works really hard. The group that enjoys being around each other. We're building towards. We obviously aren't going to get to what we want to do this year for the Big 12, but we're still building towards the playoffs and hopefully be able to do something there.
Definitely pretty confident. We got to keep them kind of grounded though. Job's not done yet. Right, you got a great opponent coming in this Friday, in a game that we felt as though we let get away from us last year. Kids have a great week of practice. It's been led by them in so many ways so far this week. So it's been really exciting as a coaching staff to see how practice is going in such a big game as this.
We had that game right where we wanted it. And obviously we just kind of got. Outworked there at the end, and so just kind of picking up the tempo in practice, making it a little bit more physical, and just having to think when you're tired, right? Just making the players be a little bit more exhausted before they go out and run some team stuff, and so that's one thing that we're working on. But this week brings a whole nother different challenges that we have to address. You can't really just run your regular offense, regular defense against a team like Peoria, or special teams for that matter. They're obviously a unique challenge. It's always a fun game, and so that's kind of where we're at this week.
A championship level mindset and focus. I told them today that are all up. We continue to stack days like we've had this week of practice. We can be a real scary team here in the near future. So I always hark with them. Our competition is a man in the mirror, right? And we come here with the mindset of looking to get better every single day and competing with the guy that you were yesterday. That's how we get better. So.
Yeah, I mean, we view this as a, and I feel like they would probably say the same thing. Like, we're to the point where I feel like they're a rival of ours. I think they have, they're much bigger than us, and they got a lot more kids that are fast. But, we're very similar skill sets and different things like that. But, we have similar styles to what we like to do. We just really look forward to playing them every year. It's a unique challenge. Very rarely is it you got to be better than the man across from you type of game. Because most teams do a lot of different things. But when it comes to Peoria, it really is it's a fight in a phone booth with them, right? And so it's that's our mentality, and that's the way that we approach it. That's the way we've been practicing and drilling this week. It's just, you got to be better than the man across from you, plain and simple.
Playing a physical level of football, right? Bringing a game to someone, right? Not experiencing a game, but being again physical, to a level that another team is not willing to go to, right? And is attacking on both sides of the ball.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories.
Your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts.
As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds.
CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action.
More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
Welcome back to Peoria Stadium. There's the pride of the city, the Peoria High marching band, just wrapping up our national anthem. But Luke Young, this is going to be a big matchup, one that we always have our eyes on every year. We've broadcasted this Peoria High Normal West game seemingly every year for about the last half decade or so. Really looking forward to strapping in and watching some great teams duke it out here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. I'm excited for this game. It was a close game last year. It's been a close game for most of their contests in the past few years, so I'm expecting a close game in this one, even though a lot of people would say Peoria High is favored in this one. But I think Normal West will always play them tough, and I think it should be a close one tonight.
It should be. Again, you see the big Peoria High tent all set up on the sideline. That's their whole kind of film studio that they have set up there. Normal West getting set up behind the end zone here. It's a beautiful night here at Peoria Stadium. It was pretty hot earlier today when we got here. It was pretty humid. We were all sweating, going up and down the bleachers, but it's turned into a beautiful night. Fans kind of starting to come in a little bit more here. Some Normal West fans showing out here as well, making the 45-minute drive up here to Peoria.
Yeah, and so it's cooled off a lot more when we got here. It was up in the 80s, and now it's got to be around in the 70s. It's cooled off, and the sunset was beautiful here behind the grandstand at this great stadium that we are so lucky to be at here tonight. And we got a pretty good game coming up, just about 5 minutes to go coming up until this kickoff.
And yeah, such a historic venue, over 100 years old, the bones of this place. So let's take a look at that weather tonight. Beautiful night for football, late September, about 74 degrees or so. Virtually no clouds, no wind. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. We're glad you're with us here in our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com. A quick word before we head to one more quick break. And for CSM Overtime, you saw it just on your screen a few minutes ago. It's the home of all of our written content, features, news, power rankings, nightly roundups of every score, every game for every area team in Central Illinois. You name it, we have it covered on CSM Overtime. You can subscribe today at the QR code on your screen or on clutchsportsil.com/overtime. We're just a few minutes away from kickoff. Stay right with us. We'll be right back after this for more pregame coverage and the kick live here from Peoria Stadium.
Champions aren't just made on the scoreboard. They're built through teamwork,
what?
leadership, and setting an example that makes us all proud. Turks Collision Center is proud to celebrate the student athletes of Central Illinois because their victories reach far beyond the game.
Are you taking too much risk with your retirement or not enough? Most people aren't sure. That's why we created the Risk Quiz. In just a few minutes, it helps you understand your personal risk tolerance. Your risk score could reveal why your current investments might feel too aggressive or too conservative. It's simple, fast, and can be eye-opening. Scan the QR code or go to twarisk.com to take the quiz and find out if your money matches your mindset.
Wok to Bowl is your flavorful destination for Asian cuisine and culinary artistry in Bloomington. From curries and stir fries to noodle bowls, desserts, and more, Wok to Bowl has something for everyone. Experience the flavor from our bold and exciting menu today.
Welcome back here to Peoria Stadium. The teams are just getting ready to take the field, and Luke, Peoria High, you can probably tell they're going to be very fired up to take this field. They are a confident bunch right now after putting up 76 points last week, and it's just a team that always has so much charisma, so much energy. The music's been blaring for a long time. They're gonna be fired up all the way through tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them play. I haven't got the chance to see them play yet, and I'm excited about some of the speed and the firepower that they have that you were talking about on the offensive end. But also just the size of both of their lines is going to be exciting compared to the smaller size of the normal lines. So we'll see how that's going to go here tonight, and I'm excited about those two factors.
For sure. Again, if you have not seen many Peoria High games, we'll give you a brief rundown. They never go for the extra point. They always go for two. They play very fast, no huddle, breakneck speed, and they onside kick it nearly every single time. And it's an extremely aggressive brand of football. It started with Tim Thornton, their previous head coach, carried on over to Aaron Montgomery, and has worked very well for them over the years. But, Luke, talking about Normal West, they had a really close game last week. We saw it in our Clutch Sports Media Game of the Week. A tough loss to Bloomington in which they had a third-quarter lead, but then saw it all crumble away.
Yeah, they played great in that first half, and Coach Fincham was talking about it in our interview this week about how they were going basically big plays in that first half, and it wasn't a sustainable approach as the defense started to cramp up, started to get tired, and they couldn't really hold on in that second half. And we were talking about some of their second half struggles off air, John. They really struggled in that second half, and first half has really been their area to score their points. We'll see if that carries over here tonight.
And they have been very good in the first half. We'll touch on it more later on tonight. But again, it's a West team that is hungry. They're fired up. They're 2-2 on the season. And speaking of them being at 2-2, let's take a look at the Big 12 standings. Luke, again, Bloomington with that win moved into top spot in the Big 12. How about the Purple Raiders? But them and Peoria High Normal Community, it's a three-way tie essentially, at least in the conference records for those two teams. But Normal West, P&D, some great teams still even at the mid part of the standings as well.
Yeah, Peoria High, a 3-1 team, but totally could be 4-0, lost to a great Morris team. They were third in 4A, and then Peoria High was third in 5A. So that was a pretty high talented game. And then we go down to the rankings to Normal West, and they are 2-2, but I think probably one of the best 2-2 teams around, and because of the strength of schedule so far earlier in this season. But as the season goes on, their schedule is going to get easier. And I know a little fact: both of these teams have both beat Peoria Notre Dame, so it's good. It's cool to see two teams who have similar competition playing against each other tonight.
Yeah, that common opponent. P&D is another 2-2 team to really keep your eye on. They've been very battle-tested, and you can expect them to probably pick up some wins and maybe get playoff eligible here later tonight. So again, neither team can reach their fifth win. Neither one of these teams can be clinch playoff eligibility tonight, but they can take a big step forward as Peoria High takes the field here. And there's the Peoria High Fight Song, the light show coming on. Always a spectacle here at Peoria Stadium. But Luke, talking about Peoria High last week, talk about a game that was not as close as Normal West Bloomington, 76-6 over Manual. My word.
Yeah. This is a great test of how awesome this offense can be. But I really want to talk about the defensive side of the ball for them. They had 6 takeaways, 3 pick sixes, and 1 fumble return for a touchdown. So the defensive side really played into that score. It wasn't just an offensive showcase for the Lions. And we'll try and see that again tonight to see if their defense can come through against against Normal West. And Manuel's had their struggles, we know that, and the score reflects it there.
Well, Normal West has already taken the field. We're about time for kickoff. Peoria High just took the field. Yeah. Normal West is ready for their kickoff. Let's take a look at their key player to watch tonight. It's the man on your screen, number 5, Nasir Hurd, a linebacker for them, a first-year starter that has made a big impact.
Yeah, he's been great defensively for them. He's got 10 tackles, or he had 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss last week. So he really showed out in their loss last week, but he's been doing great so far in the season. Was a guy who rode the bench last year, but has come through in the offseason, came through to this year to be a starter defensively for Normal West.
Take a look at our tail of the tape, the averages for both of these teams right now. Look at Peoria High's offense, averaging 51 points per game, giving up 18. Normal West, though, also a pretty respectable offense and a defense that has played pretty well at times this season,
yeah,
too.
Both teams are pretty potent offensively. Last year, Peoria High averaged 45 points a game and 494 yards per game, so they're continuing that type of offensive output, while Normal West, on the other hand, is pretty respectable in their own right. Both defenses pretty formidable as well. We'll see which team can just the key for Normal is they're going to have to stop Peoria High somehow. That's the only way they're going to be able to win this game.
Definitely. We'll talk about our keys to the game here shortly after kickoff. Peoria High won the toss. They elected to receive, and we are about to get set here for one of the biggest Big 12 games every single year between Normal West and Peoria High. Glad you're with us here again on CIProud.com to kick it away. For the Wildcats, it will be Zach Sen, the freshman. And he'll send this away from the 40. We are underway here in the River City. And the kickoff is brought in by number 2. That's Demarion Zapata. He's running to the near side. Not much doing there. Out to the 30-yard line or so.
Yeah, Zapata had a great week last week. Was the guy who had the 3 pick sixes. So we see him offensively there on that kick return, on special teams on the kick return. But we'll see him on the defensive and offensive side for Peoria High tonight. And it seems like Peoria High was kind of rushed onto the field here. Seems like Normal West was a little bit ahead of schedule, as we can see the head coach for Peoria High meeting with them. I don't know if they got a chance to do that before they even got out there. So maybe that'll play a little wrinkle, maybe a little strategy there from Fincham to throw off this potent Peoria High offense.
And talking about a potent Peoria High offense, look at Tatarion Pollard. He's our player to watch tonight. Last year, Luke, 1,598 yards and 20 touchdowns. Second team all-conference. It was almost unbelievable that he wasn't first team all-conference, but he's going to be a big part of their game tonight. They go to him here on the first play of the game as a pickup of about 5 or so on first down.
Yeah, John, you're going to be saying his name a lot tonight. He's going to be the main force of this offense, and I can't overstate that enough. If you are watching this game, you're going to hear a lot about Tatarion Pollard. He is a dynamic running back. That dude never stops going forwards. He never goes east or west. He always goes forwards.
And he's part of a great tradition of Peoria High running backs. They have one every single year. Here's Breon Green to throw. It's a slant across the middle and complete for a big pickup of about 20. And that one, it was complete to number 1, Darion Mays.
Yeah, he's more of a defensive guy, more plays that defensive back position for this Peoria High team, but a great catch on the slant there, and we see this Peoria High offense already starting to do the hurry up.
Yeah, they just play with their pedal to the metal all night long. Here's they give up the middle, and the Normal West defensive front is ready to go there. Luke, we talked about it. It's a defensive front that on paper doesn't look intimidating, but they make up for it again with their intelligence and their grit.
Yeah, they're pretty small on both lines. The defensive line, too. Coach Fincham talked about having smart lines, especially their offensive line, but also on the defensive line, overcoming their physical weaknesses with brains.
So it's a 2nd and 8 now from the 42. Handoff up the middle, and there's a tackle in the middle made there by, looks like Josh Edmondson in there for Normal West, along with Marquell Letcher, part of that defensive line. And includes DJ Morgan, Markel Gibbs, who's the biggest one, 6'1", 340, Marquell Letcher, and Keegan Brown, a returning starter. 3rd and 5 now, and Breon Green, I think, just caught himself a first down.
Yeah, what a great stuff right there on the hard count. Got the 3 guys on that defensive line on the edge there to jump, and we just saw one of the best quarterbacks in this Illinois, Illinois, Green, who who is dynamic on offense, and we just saw the brains from him right there too. So the IQ coming through for this Peoria High offense early.
So that penalty gives them first down. Penalty is something to watch here for Normal West. They were penalized 12 times last week against Bloomington. So the Lions started the ball at their own 30 and now are approaching the Wildcats 30 here early in the first quarter. Green going back to pass. Got a wide open man. That's Jalen Rayford inside the 25. First time we've called his name, and him and Mays are kind of, again, that 1A, 1B for the Lions.
Yeah, we're going to hear their names the most here for pass catching tonight. Yeah, they're the favorite targets for Green, and we're just going to see a great catch there on the outside by Rayford to get a few yards. It was kind of like everyone else ran out, and he was wide open there on the outside.
A forgotten man on the sidelines there. Pollard dashes up the middle, and a good push backwards there by Normal West defense. So, again, the runs up the gut overall have been kind of in favor of the Wildcats so far.
Yeah, Pollard is the guy that I said always keeps moving forwards, but tonight has been stopped. Clearly, Normal West has predicted those runs up the middle, and has done a great job to stop that.
Say 2nd and 8 now from the 20. It might have been more pre-snap movement. It's the keeper by Green. Might have been a free play.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing.
Usually you see a free play and it's a pass. I mean, how often have we seen Aaron Rodgers draw a defense off sides, just throw it, chuck it down the field?
Yeah, it seems like the receivers were not ready for that one either. I think Green was the only one who knew kind of what happened on that play, so he had the smarts to just pull the ball down and go to try to get as many yards as he can.
So it's now a 3rd and 3 after a gain of 5. Green keeps it. He's in lots of trouble. West swarming the quarterback. He's still not down, but he can run, but he can't hide. Ryan Carmona in on that tackle for the black and white.
Yeah, what a play there from the Normal defense to get a high-powered guy to down on the ground like that. He didn't even go down right away, and they still got him for a loss of the yard. A big 4th down coming up here for Normal West, and a great defensive stand so far, even though they got hit by that penalty.
So it's a 4th and 5, and of course Peoria High is going to go for it here in the red zone at the 17. It's Green out of the shotgun with 2 wide receivers, dropping back to throw, looking for the end zone, and Rayford, there was contact and no flag. The referee was right there, and they said, we're going to keep this one in our pocket. West takes over, and that's a big stop for the Wildcats. Lucas, we take a look at our keys to the game. No turnovers was a big thing for Peoria High. It's a very good offense, but you don't want to have empty possessions and waste that good offense that they got.
Yeah, and so far they've been pretty clean on the offensive side, and we've seen that so far. The no turnovers is a big thing, and getting turnovers on the other side is a big thing for them as well.
And also, again, fast start. Well, good start for Normal West. They held Peoria High scoreless on that first drive. For them, their keys tonight, they can't take any plays off, and they got to win their matchups tonight against this very man-heavy Peoria High team. Handoff up the middle. Doesn't go much of anywhere, but Luke, how about this? Drew Mangrum, not the quarterback for West right now. It's their backup, Chase Sennett, a sophomore. So that's a bit of something that we did not expect coming into this one.
Yeah, didn't see that one coming. I saw Sennett warming up in the warm-ups, but I didn't think he'd be playing tonight. I hope that Mangrum's okay. Mangrum was their usual guy, and we'll see if that changes any of the offense here for Normal West having their backup in.
So Sennett, a 6'2", 170 sophomore, getting his first start of the season under the lights here at Peoria Stadium. Flags fly beforehand. This might be a procedure-like penalty as Givens was in motion.
Yeah, all 3 of the refs threw their flags there. That's something we usually don't see. So obviously there was something wrong there if all 3 of the refs saw something that pulled their flag on, and Normal West is walking backwards here.
Yeah, we mentioned Given Smith. He is another guy we're going to be calling a lot tonight. A wide receiver, cornerback, kick returner. He'll also run the football. So, again, Normal West will get the ball in the hands of their playmakers regardless if it's through the air with their backup quarterback, or maybe they'll even run some handoffs to Givens as well.
Yeah, Given Smith 401 receiving yards, 357 rushing yards last year, so he does kind of everything for this Normal West team and a low snap.
Very packed box. Peoria High brought the pressure, but they're going to get paid. Normal West down the field is Efoy Baskins. No one in front of him, an 88-yard touchdown pass from Chase Sennett to Efoy Baskins. There's a flag down back at the Normal West 45.
Yeah, I hope that's not something that brawls it back, but what a great play there from Sennett to realize that I think Peoria High rushed their entire team there, and Baskins was wide open down the middle. I mean, more than wide open.
The gamble did not pay off for the Lions as it stands right now. And the flag is waved off. The touchdown will stand. What a play to start things out here for Normal West. Their second play of the game, an 88-yard house call. So they'll bring out the point after unit. About 7 minutes to go here in the first. But, I mean, Luke, what does this do for a team that's on the road coming off of a loss, facing a state-ranked team? I mean, that is huge.
I just think if you're Coach Frenchman, that just gives you a sigh of relief that you can score like that early and often. But also, he's got to be like, that's one of those big plays we were trying to avoid this week. But if I'm him with my backup quarterback in, I'm taking that play any day of the week.
Here's the point after. It is up and through the white uprights here of Peoria Stadium, and Normal West leads it 7-0 here. So, again, Luke, it's been a fast-moving game so far. We said there's going to be big plays. Well, we didn't let you down, folks. So.
Yeah, we were expecting more of the big plays to be on the other side of the ball with Peoria High while West draws out some of their possessions. But on those first two plays, we saw the opposite. And a great throw there from Sennett to find the wide open Baskins.
And skating the sidelines, looking for a number one in uniform for West. And I have not seen Mangrum so far. So, I don't. It might be just in street clothes. Maybe didn't make the trip tonight, but either way, it's a big loss for West. It's a 3-year starter for them at quarterback, but Chase Sennett has an emerging storyline to watch. So we will see Peoria High get their second crack at it here on offense.
Yeah, will we see more? We saw a lot of runs up the middle. Will we see more stuff to the outside here for Peoria High, or more to the receivers? I mean, they did have success in the passing game early in that drive. Maybe we'll see more of that here.
Normal West usually has about a 6-man box and 5 men in the secondary as the kick is away. Here's a return from Zapata going to that same spot, and just not much room there before he was pushed out there by a Wildcat. And we take a look at Peoria High's head coach, Aaron Montgomery there. You see him in his second season. Luke, he wears multiple hats for this Lions squad. He's a head coach and defensive coordinator.
Yeah, talking to him, he was very defensive focused. You can tell that he's got great defensive mind. He loves to play man for this team. He believes in his athletes. He believes his athletes can match up to any of his athletes, any other athletes in the state. So he believes in his guys to go out there and play man. And he does a great job playing both of those roles. And I think he's a great coach for this Peoria High team.
And filling the shoes of Tim Thornton, longtime head coach, who's now down at Lely High School in Naples, Florida. Doing great things down there. The Lions will take over here. 1st and 10 from the 31. Green out of the shotgun. Here's Pollard with a burst of speed before he's wrestled down by Josh Edmondson, one of 2 linebackers for West. We talked about their alignment. They have 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 DBs most of the time. But their linebackers hurted Edmondson are some guys to watch.
Yeah, and then a hurt for their linebacker position. Brian Learman's out for the season, was out a lot of last year, out again this year. So not something if you want to see if you're a Normal West fan.
As a keeper by Green, runs into a wall of Wildcats. Picked up about 2. It's going to be about 3rd and short here. But essentially, Luke, with Peoria High's offense, you can treat it like second down because they're going to go for it even if they don't get it here.
Yeah, if you're Coach Montgomery, there's a lot of options you can run on this play because no matter what, you're going for it.
Unless something drastically bad happened here. But again, Peoria High turnover on downs inside the red zone last time through, trying to put it together another drive here. Green has all day to throw, unleashes one. And unless he was looking for the referee, that one was not quite on target. It was looking for Darion Mays, but see the stripes kind of hesitate during the headlights right there.
Yeah, he looked a little confused, just as confused as I was. I was confused on what that throw was. There were 2 receivers leaking out down the middle, and it looks like he split them right down, like just right in between them like a field goal. So I like the throw down the field, just couldn't execute it this time.
So it's a 4th and 1 here for the Lions from their own 40. Probably not going to pooch kick it here. Carmona, the safety, is back there. It's a handoff to Pollard. He's getting pushed back by big number 99. That's Enrico Wright McMillan making the stop. And that's 2 4-and-outs now that this West defense is faced.
Yeah, and you could see the Normal West fans, they knew it right away that run was getting stopped. And I think if you're Normal West, you knew that play was coming. They were going to hand it to their playmaker up the middle, try to get 1 yard, which is pretty feasible if you're a high-powered offense like Peoria High. But great defensive stop there from Normal West and that defensive line.
So West to get some good field position here, again on the road against the number 3 5A team in the state. They're a backup quarterback. Chase Sennett back out there taking snaps. Efoy Baskins in motion. It's a handoff to Cody Molbauer. There's Speedy Jr. He runs to the right side for about 3.
Yeah, Molbauer's kind of the Pollard version of this normal offense. He's going to get a lot of their carries, probably up above over 60% of the carries here tonight for this normal offense. If they're handing it off, it's going to be to Molbauer.
And get a look at Nathan Fincham, the guy calling the plays for Normal West, their head coach, 55-20 in 8 seasons. And Luke, Normal West is a bit of a newer high school, just relatively speaking. He's only their 3rd head coach in program history. So here's a 2nd and 7 now for Molbauer. Again, going to the right side. And he gets pushed out at around the sticks by Kewan Jordan, junior linebacker for the Lions. It's going to be close, but the chain gang is on the move.
Yeah, the Molbauer's only 5'10", 185, but he gets off that line quick. And he gets to the outside. He's got some speed down the sideline. So we'll see how the Normal West offense can get him on the outside like they did there.
And the thing to keep an eye on, that I'm keeping my eye on tonight for West, is how are they going to play the time of possession game? Are they going to try and keep this potent Peoria High offense off the field for as long as possible? Molbauer getting wrapped up all over that one.
Yeah, but
I think Peoria High D-line.
Yeah, I think he still got a yard on that one. A great way to keep going forwards there by Molbauer. And you're right, Coach Fincham did talk about those big plays and how it kind of was an unsustainable type of offense, and he wants to keep his defense on the sideline longer to keep them rested and keep them ready for this Peoria High offense. I think so far in this position they're doing a great job of that.
Most definitely. Again, last week's had some big passes from Mangrum to Molbauer for some touchdowns. Now here's Chase Sennett looking for it all with Baskins again. He brought it in. Efoy Baskins, 2 for 2 tonight, and West leads at 13-0.
And what a catch there from Baskins. Kind of had to reach out for that one, and also a great throw there from Sennett to this already tonight to Baskins. And what a drive there from Normal West. If you're Coach Fincham, you got to be super happy about that one. I believe they're going to go for 2 here. Nope, they're going to kick the field goal. But a great pass and catch there by Baskins and Sennett. Something you want to see if you're Coach Fincham.
Well, again, that Peoria High defense, they play man, they play matchups. Well, so far, Baskins has definitely won that matchup with his cornerback tonight. And West leads it now 14-0. That was a heck of a ball from Sennett, Luke.
Yeah, and that was a great throw for a guy who hasn't really seen the field that much in his career. Just threw that right in the breadbasket, and we'll have to see if Peoria sticks with man here. We were talking about for prep for this game, Given Smith was going to be the guy. Malik Given Smith was going to be the guy catching passes, but so far in this first quarter, Baskins got 2 receiving touchdowns, and he's been the guy so far tonight.
Well, that's kind of the risk you take when you face a team like Normal West and also like Peoria High, too, that have multiple weapons. You focus so much on one guy, leaves another guy maybe a little bit more open. So Baskins, a great night so far, already over 100 yards receiving. He had 100 yards on the dot through 3 weeks. Didn't get his numbers from last week, but again, he is on track to about double his statistical output already in the first quarter so far tonight. So Peoria High sideline a little bit more grim now. They came out again super amped up, super fired up after a 70-point win last week, but now they got to kind of, again, regain that kind of that mojo for them here on this drive, because otherwise West could make it a 3-score game here in this first half.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how much more aggressive they can get. They're aggressive as is. Now down 14-0 right away, they're going to really have to throw the ball.
Here's Jake Haserick with the kickoff, and is muffed there and just fallen on there by Mays. A nice, smart move, not to try and bite off more than you can chew, but a missed opportunity there for the Lions. And Luke, we were talking with Aaron Montgomery last week. We talked to him about that win last week against Manual, right? The positives of it is, again, you can rest your offense. They were sitting by easily the end of the first half. Their starters were. Now, the downside is, they didn't play a full 4 quarters. Maybe it's been a little bit longer since they've seen, kind of a full game and some meaningful action on the field.
Yeah, the manual is not a great test of competition for how great of a team this Peoria High School is, and this is a better test of competition we're seeing so far tonight. The scoreboard, 14-0 early.
Great shot there up in the historic press box here at Peoria Stadium. As a run, not much doing there. Again, that West defense making some good plays. A lot of guys in there on that tackle, including DJ Morgan. And beautiful night here at Peoria Stadium. Glad you're with us in our WMBD Game of the Week.
Yeah, Morgan was a guy who Coach Fincham talked about in our interview. He said he's a guy who's thought to be pretty good, but he's turned out to be one of our strongest defensive linemen so far in the season.
Here's Green to throw, in some trouble, loses his balance, regains it, pump fakes, he's going to keep it, and get pushed out on the sideline there by Marquel Letcher again. So Letcher has been very active on defense. Green does a short run there, but again, you have to keep an eye on him. You got to keep a linebacker keyed on him because he can take one 70, 80 yards or longer to the house.
Yeah, you're going to have to protect the edges like many running quarterbacks. Defensive coordinators really want to protect the edges so they don't get to the outside.
So it's a 3rd and 5. Whistle blows here.
I think that was Letcher who jumped there. So right after the great play, I think he jumped off sides. Great job with the hard count so far by Green. That's the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen this defensive line by Normal West jump off sides.
And part of that might be the product of Breon Green working so much with their quarterbacks coach Dave Fowler at Peoria High, who has just molded so many great quarterbacks over the years here for the Lions. So that will make it a 3rd and inches, I believe. It was 3rd and 5, but the down marker has not changed yet. From our angle, it looks like it might be a bit short. We'll see what this conference is all about.
Yeah, and they're moving the sticks now. So I guess we'll see a 1st and 10 here for Peoria High. And it's interesting, we opened this game talking about how, my gosh, this offense. And a lot of the offense so far for Peoria High, outside of that one throw over the middle, has been the penalties by by Normal West. So we'll see if they can get something going here. I think they're probably going to see a lot more throwing down early.
We shall see it, but again, Pollard is a guy that you feed him long enough, he's going to make something happen.
Yeah.
So playbook definitely still wide open for the Maroon and White. Here's Pollard up the middle, sidestepping him guy across the 50 before he's brought down by Carmona, but that's just what the doctor ordered, a 19-yard chunk play there. That's the Peoria High offense that many people are accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, and Pollard proved me wrong there. I'm talking about throwing the ball, and he breaks it out for like 25 yards there, making 2 guys miss over the middle. That's some high-skilled football right there.
Very quickly back to the line. Pollard up the middle, getting a push by big Jaquarius Green and some company. West kind of pushes back there. How about the matchup inside of Jaquarius Green at 6'3", 375, and Markel Gibbs at 6'1", 340 on the West defensive line. Has a ton of weight going on.
Yeah, Green is one of the guys I'm looking at tonight. He is, outside of Pollard, the most important person in this run game. He really opens up the holes for Pollard to break up the middle like he has so far in this possession.
Pollard stays up right there, gets a few yards. First guy there, though, was Nasir Hurd, our player to watch tonight for Normal West. A few substitutions here for the Wildcats as Letcher and Gibbs come out. It's a little bit of a deep defensive line. They do rotate a lot of guys in, and we saw, again, Enrico White McMillan make a big play on the last drive. There you go to Pollard, call his number again. He's up across the 30. Gain of about 7.
Yeah, that offensive line for Peoria High is doing a great job of opening up holes for Pollard, and obviously he's doing stuff on his own. Feels like that guy gets a yard after contact every single time he gets the ball. He gets hit, and he is not going down no matter what. and he's done a great job just moving forward, like I said earlier tonight, just moving forward no matter what.
An offensive line from Peoria High features a freshman starting up there, Trace Branch. Handoff goes up the middle, and good gang tackling so far from West. It's something I've noticed, Lucas. Pollard, usually he's running into at least 3 or 4 West defenders.
Yeah, it's never been one guy that's been taking him down. It's never been like just a solo tackle. Every time he gets hit, it's by 3 or 4 white jerseys, like you said, John. And that time a blitz right there by Normal West, but Pollard runs right through it just to get taken down by those skilled linebackers of Normal West.
Still enough for a first down, though. And guess who? It's Tatarion Pollard. A little bit of a shorter gain there, brings up a 2nd and long. Again, also another game for you tonight. You can watch on our website, clutchsportsil.com, as well as our YouTube channel. That's Morton at Pekin. So we have a Big 12 and a Mid-Illini game for you tonight. You can even pull up both of them. Watch at the same time if you so choose. Under a minute to play here in this fast-moving first quarter. Handoff to Pollard, and just, again, I think Peoria High is just hoping that just go to the well, and just eventually he'll break one loose.
Yeah, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality there from Coach Montgomery. Every time it just betters your chances of a big run by Pollard, the more you hand it to him. So
Peoria High going for one last play before the first quarter. It's a keeper by Green running to the outside. He's pushed out by Tyquan Page, and that's how the first quarter will end. So Chase Sennett, the backup quarterback for Normal West, in tonight, throws 2 beautiful touchdown passes to Efoy Baskins, but the Lions are driving. We'll see what they can do right after this on CIProud.com.
Sam Lehman of Morton, the #1 Ram truck dealer in Illinois and largest Ram dealer in the Midwest.
This month, take $20,000 off a brand new Ram 1500 Laramie when you finance through Stellantis. Or save over 25% on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. Plus, take $12,000 off a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee L. All this and more during the Drive Into Fall event at Sam Lehman of Morton, where we do the deals no one else will.
We believe solar energy should be as dependable as the sun itself. Now, imagine your energy company felt the same way. In an industry full of overblown promises and hazy fine print, we're here to be the light in the dark. Ready to explore solar with a partner you can trust? Visit www.suncollectors.solar.
Friday Night Lights here in the heart of Peoria, Illinois. It's a beautiful sight, and glad you're with us here on CIProud.com. Normal West leads Peoria High 14-0 here. Jonathan Michael, Luke Young here in the booth. Luke, it's a pretty good way to spend your 25th birthday, so having fun here along with all of our Clutch Sports media crew and having fun watching this Peoria High offense and Tatarion Pollard really go to work.
Yeah, and that it's been a great showing from him so far. Just determined running from the running back, and we'll see him not again today, not again here.
Here's Green sidestepping into the end zone. First play TD, Breon Green, 13 yards up the gut, and there's the first light show of the night.
I wasn't expecting that. Haven't been to a Peoria High game yet, but that was a great run by Green. Made 3 guys miss. Thought he was going to go down right away. Thought Pollard was going to get the ball, honestly. But Green keeps it himself and prances in for the touchdown. Great play there by the quarterback.
And more great holes opened up by that Peoria High O-line that you just cannot forget about. They're such a big part of this team. So a much-needed response there from Green and the Lions. Green has had rushing touchdowns in almost every game this season. But an option play is going to keep it. Nice little head fake to keep it, and that is a good 2-point conversion.
That was an awesome play there by Green. I thought he faked me. I thought that ball was coming out to Pollard, but a great fake. Got the defender to move just an inch, and that's all I needed to go all the way in for the 2-point conversion.
So 14-8, Normal West lead is cut just a bit more in half here. And again, these 2-point conversions, whether or not Peoria High is able to get them or not throughout the night in a closely contested game could end up proving very pivotal. So again, if they can get these 2-point conversions, eventually it might be like scoring a whole nother touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. Those points can stack. Those 1 points go a long way. And that was a great response. After a tough first quarter, the Lions moved the ball, scored right away in the second quarter, and that's something you want to see. If you're Coach Montgomery, now it comes down to the defense. What are you going to do defensively to stop this passing game? And Montgomery talked about, when we talked to him, he talked about, when we asked him about Given Smith, he was like, we know we're going to send Mays everywhere he goes, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that's going to happen. Well, now we just have to be ready for their plan B and C, and we've seen the plan B come through tonight twice, so we'll see how they respond to that.
And they put it to Efoy Baskins. Their plan B. Here's the onside kick from the Lions, and it's not going to travel the distance or stay in bounds, so it'll be Normal West ball in great field position. But Luke, back on that first drive for Peoria High, again, offensive line did such a good job, and again, part of it due to the man that they call Big Baby, Jaquarius Green, 6'3", 375. He is a 4-year starter, Luke.
Yeah, we got to talk to him when we talked to Coach Montgomery. He is a big dude, and he got his first Division I offer when he was in 8th grade.
Unbelievable.
And he is the leader of this defensive and offensive line for Peoria High. So every big run by Pollard, it's a big reason it's because of that guy.
Jaquarius Green is definitely looking like an all-conference, all-area lineman right now as whistles blow. This one looking like it might be on the Wildcats, and it is. It's a false start. I'll back him up to 1st and 15. But again, we were talking about Green before this broadcast, and he is a huge guy. Again, 375 pounds. He's cut down his weight a little bit over the past few years to kind of get his conditioning right. And, just to be able to play two ways, to have that stamina and such a fast offense is really remarkable what he's able to do, again, with so much size. Now here's Peoria High, almost all 11 guys right up there almost on the line of scrimmage. And a man jumped offside, so they give him 5 yards, but get it right back.
Yeah, interesting strategy to pack the box there. And the 2 scores have been on passing plays, so you can see Montgomery trusting his guys in man so far in this game.
You have to wonder if, maybe they saw Sennett as a starter tonight. Maybe we were like, okay, this guy's the backup. Maybe not the guy we were maybe expecting.
Yeah.
Younger guy, a sophomore. Maybe he smells, they smell blood in the water. But again, so far Sennett has looked good so far, and I believe he's only thrown it 2 times. Both times were those touchdown passes to Efoy Baskins.
Yeah. And a great way to make a new quarterback uncomfortable is to put pressure on him. And you're right, John. Blood in the water is a great term for that. And it looked like this is going backwards.
So it's going to be
a false start.
Yeah, it's going to be a false start on West. So they say that the offside lineman for Peoria High was drawn that way. So it's now a 1st and 20 for the Wildcats, who, again, have racked up about 4 or 5 penalties so far tonight, something they want to clean up the rest of the year.
And nobody lined outside here.
Everybody in the box. Hand off to Mulbauer. He still finds a way to get positive yardage before he is dragged down there by one of the Peoria D linemen. And guess who? That's Jaquarius Green. He got off his block pretty quick there, Luke.
Yeah, and that's an interesting strategy there by Coach Fincham. Knowing that his line is significantly smaller than the Peoria defensive line, just sticking to it and trying to outsmart him, as he talked about in our interview.
Marcion Williams, freshman wide receiver at the top of your screen for Normal West. He's guarded by Melvin Jenkins. Here's a handoff to Malik Given Smith. Second effort, dives forward for about 2. And one of the first guys there was Dezon McCaston, a guy we're going to be talking a lot about later tonight too, a senior D lineman and a transfer.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've talked about Given Smith offensively here tonight. First time his time touching the ball. I don't even know he's a receiver, but he rushes the ball quite a bit as well. And we see it there on the handoff. He's an explosive guy for this Normal West team that can break out for a touchdown anytime he touches the ball as well.
So 3rd and 15. Kind of a tight set here for Sennett and company. Mulbauer in the backfield. And they'll look his direction. He brings it in across the 50, hurdles the man across the 45. Mulbauer gets eaten up by the turf monster at the 42. He broke 2 long touchdowns last week. He just can't do it there.
Yeah, a great play to jump over the defender there who went low at his knees. And then I think he might have got it if he could have just kept his footing, but couldn't turn the corner there. And I think it's going to be a punt here from Normal West.
And we'll try and play the field position game and pin the Lions deep. But that's a good play call, Luke. I like with such an aggressive defense, a screen pass can often yield some big benefits here. So for the 4 now from the 42, Haseric will punt it. And it's a spiraling kick, looking good. Bounces at the 15, and it will be down inside the 10 at the 6. So a 36-yard boot and a beautiful job there done by Jake Haseric from Normal West. So again, Luke, punters are people too. They play a big part in this. They're going to force Peoria High to march 94 yards.
Yeah, that was a great punt. The ball just rolled straight forwards and landed in a great spot and put in this tough Peoria High defense or offense in a tough spot. And I just love our guy, Big Baby, just staying out there. Didn't even go back for the huddle. Just literally walked down from where the defense was all the way down to where the ball was placed. He knows his role. He's ready to go.
He is like another coach on the field. That's what Aaron Montgomery said. So a long field ahead for Breon Green and the Lions. He'll take the snap from about the goal line. Looking to throw. Going deep. Looking for a man and overthrew his intended target, which was, again, Darion Mays. He was guarded that time by Tyquan Page. And, Luke, we were talking about the key matchup coming into tonight, which was Malik Given-Smith and Darion Mays. And that time, Mays was guarded by Page. So what to watch on both offense and defense because they both play 2 ways.
Yeah, and the Mays is going to be mainly the defensive guy against Given-Smith, but so far it's Ben Baskins, and that's what we talked about Montgomery with. Everyone knows what's going to happen. They play man. Mays is going to be on Given-Smith, and we've seen that so far tonight a few times.
And off to Detarion Pollard, gains about 4 or so. Keegan Brown and Nasir Hurd in on that stop for Normal West. Yeah, Malik Given-Smith has been utilized in the run game, and I mean, you can almost, he's listed as a wide receiver on their roster. You can almost list him as a running back as well, Luke. Again, I don't know how far back your football knowledge goes. He reminds me a lot of a former NFL player, Dexter McCluster. Did a little bit of both. They agreed with another hard count, but they did not infract the neutral zone. 2nd and 10 here from the 6. 3rd and 10, rather. Green stands flat-footed in the pocket, in some trouble. He's going down, a big sack for the Wildcats. And guess who it is again? It's Enrico White McMillan making big plays off the bench.
Yeah, Enrico White McMillan, a great play there to get off the line and get to the quarterback. And a guy who's pretty mobile, hard to get down, and gets down there. And slow to get up as well. And Enrico and White McMillan is the one guy who kind of stands out on the stat sheet in terms of his physicals. He's 6'3", 265, so the biggest guy on that line.
Yeah, him and also, as long as Markel Gibbs isn't on there, Gibbs at 340. Have a player down here for the Lions. We'll take a quick break and be right back here again in our CI Proud Game of the Week here with WMBD.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com. Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses.
And welcome back to Peoria Stadium. Breon Green, the injured Lion there. So 4th and 10, the Lions are lined up to go for this. No, they will pooch kick it from their own 6. And he gets a bit of a Peoria High bounce. And back to about the 36 before it's downed there by Kyrion Woodard from Peoria High. So, Luke, again, we'll definitely be watching very closely to see if Green comes back the next drive. This could turn into a matchup of the backups tonight here.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Maybe they were just taking him out on that play, just precautionary. He did walk off on his own. I think Coach Montgomery was planning to punt there no matter what, so taking Green out kind of makes sense just for the punt to happen. It was a pretty good punt at that. So we'll see this Normal West offense once again coming out here with their backup Senate in to make some noise here.
Yeah, and some good field position as well from the 36. A lot shorter field than what they've seen so far tonight. They didn't have great field position most of the time against Bloomington last week. But again, they jumped out to a first half lead. And Senate will take this one with trips to the right. Williams, Givens, and Baskins. He's looking in the direction of Givens and in and out of his hands. Looked like from our angle it might have been complete, and then we saw the pigskin bounce on the turf.
Yeah, and Given Smith is a guy we were just talking about, a guy who kind of does both. For anybody who didn't understand John's reference, I got a current one, a little Debo Samuel-ish, kind of does both on both sides back in San Francisco
there
days.
You go.
Debo played kind of both positions, so kind of what Given Smith, I think he's going to take the snap here too.
Yeah, Given Smith has lined up in the Wildcat before and ran for 2 touchdowns in this formation against Normal Community. He'll take it right up the gut and a gain of about 2 right into the teeth of the Peoria High defense.
Yeah, so Coach Fincham making an effort to put it in the ball in the hands of his playmakers. 2 plays towards Given Smith so far, and get some positive yards there. 3rd and 8 coming up here.
Big one here for West, see if they can keep this drive going and keep that Peoria High offense on the sideline. About 3 wide receivers and a tight end. Senate looking for a man. That was Cody Molbauer, and it's incomplete. And yeah, Molbauer last week had 2 long receiving touchdowns of 61 and 33 yards.
Yeah.
That time, again, he's been second time he's been targeted.
Yeah, and I thought we might have seen Given Smith again on that play. He was lined up to the outside, and man coverage there by Mays. So we do see that rivalry, so to speak, on the outside come through there, and we have a punt coming up here.
So we'll see what Haseric can do to pin Peoria High deep this time. Not really field goal range for the Wildcats. Ball bouncing inside the 10. Another one inside the 10 there for Jake Haseric before it's downed by Efoy Baskins at the 9. So we'll see if Green is back out on the field, Nick. We're scanning across the way again. We're set up in the opposing bleachers tonight, but it looks like Green might be back out there.
Yeah, I kind of got deja vu in those 2 possessions there. 2 punts and 2 punts inside of the 10. No, I'm not seeing Green yet.
Yeah, I have not seen Green yet. It looks like their backup is in. That's number 16. We do not have a number 16 on our roster, and that is probably about the worst things that can happen. But again, the roster that Peoria High does not have a number 16. So we know it's Peoria High's backup. We know they have a long field in front of them. Here's a keeper. And a big run for the Lions across the 25. Well, kind of a confusing play there, but a big run there, and Baskins on the tackle.
Yeah, a great call there from Coach Montgomery. Facing the adversity of his starting quarterback down, does a great job calling the keeper there for a big play to get him out of that kind of tough spot right in front of their end zone.
And I think this is actually Demarion Zapata at quarterback, number 2. And he completes the pass. At least it looked like it was completed.
I believe it was. And great confidence there by Zapata to step up and make that throw. Playing with gloves on, too, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a glove on his left hand, maybe not on his right hand. I think that's what it is. But still, tough spot for Zapata here.
And Zapata's going to keep it, run for about a couple. Aaron Montgomery did say that Zapata was going to earn some action on offense. Probably wasn't anticipated to be at quarterback, though. Yeah. But, again, Peoria High is a team that's full of athletes, and sometimes that's all you need. So here's a 3rd down after that run from about the 33-yard line. Zapata hands off to Datarion Pollard. Another great stand by the West D line. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be 4th and short, Luke.
I believe they're going to go for it. I don't think their philosophy is going to change here no matter who's at QB. I think Montgomery's got belief in Pollard, and I think he can get that yard that they're missing here.
Well, Luke, before this one, we were talking about this might be a very high-scoring game, and Normal West 14 in the first quarter. Peoria High scored the first play, the second quarter, but looking like it may not quite maybe be the 50, 60-point output that we might have been expecting, but still plenty of time left as we're halfway through quarter number 2. 4th and 1. Pollard has an open lane. There goes Pollard. One man to beat. Baskins in pursuit. He brings him down. Tremendous hustle from Baskins to prevent the touchdown, but that's a run of about 51 yards, 61 rather, there for Pollard.
Yeah, and a great hole made there by the Peoria High the offensive line, and a great run there from Pollard. And clap your hands for Efoy Baskins, just catching up to one of the fastest guys I've ever seen. Caught up to him on that right sideline, brought him down, saved a touchdown there. Maybe that can provide some momentum for this defense of Normal West as they call a timeout here.
Yeah, they'll fire up the Peoria High fans you see there, and they started to kind of file in pretty well. Kickoff is still kind of coming in, but a few sections pretty full over there. It's the Lions' homecoming night, so big week for them. Normal West, they brought their cheer squad here as well, so they've traveled pretty well. Homecoming week for a lot of high schools here around not just Central Illinois, but in the entire state. Luke, one thing I was doing some trivia, I was curious as to figure out when the tradition of homecoming started and where it started too. It started in Illinois, down at the University of Illinois. Actually, back they were the first kind of college to have an official homecoming back in the late 1890s, I believe.
Gotcha.
I know that's kind of the fact you never really asked for, but figured I'd toss it out there if you had it. 1st and goal from the Lions. Here's Zapata. It's a big hit, but keeps on chugging.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a handoff to Pollard there, but a high snap kind of delays it until Zapata keeps it and makes some yards on his own.
Keegan Brown and Enrico White McMillan are the guys there on the tackle for the Wildcats. So this is one of the only plays that the Lions have had in the red zone so far tonight. And they trailed 14-0 after the first quarter. But could tie things up here with 6.
Yeah, and this is what would make Green so dangerous here. They're so afraid of his legs. We saw it on that first touchdown, but fortunately he's not out there. So we'll see if Zapata can make a difference here.
And Zapata normally the starting safety as we get a flag. I would imagine this is probably on the Lions, and it is a false start.
So now we see kind of the problems without the starting quarterback out there. The offensive line kind of uncomfortable, making some false moves there, and they'll walk back 5 yards.
And I'll put them at the 11. Again, they also have a new center in Trace Branch. Again, the freshman starting tonight for Peoria High. A lot of new starters on that O-line for Lions outside of Jaquarius Green and Kamari Jackson. Here goes a handoff, right to the right side. Touchdown Lions, Melvin Jenkins running it in from 11 yards out. We have a tie ball game in Peoria.
Yeah, what a run to the outside on that jet sweep play. Some serious speed. That's the guy you were talking about, John, who's got the sub-11 100-meter dash. And if anybody knows track, people they know how fast that is for a high schooler to run that fast. And we saw that speed there on the outside. Nobody was touching him. And he got to the outside and ran it into the end zone for the Lions. So 14-14 here, and great response after losing their starting QB for Peoria High to come down and score a touchdown.
They'll go for 2, and great job by that West defense. Looked like one of the first guys there was number 80 for the Wildcats. That's Cade Gonzalez, junior D lineman. So again, Luke, we have called the name of about 6 or 7 linemen from the Wildcats here tonight.
Yeah, and I just like to highlight for Peoria High, they basically went the full length of the field there for that touchdown with their, so to speak, backup QB. I don't even know if they have a backup QB on their roster. Yeah, kind of just Zapata thrown into that spot, going the full length of the field for the touchdown. And it was all on the ground, too. Nothing to the air outside of that one kind of short throw.
Yeah, there was that one throw that Zapata got a short yardage gain, but that's about one of the first times we've called Melvin Jenkins his name tonight. And again, he's just another one of those guys for Peoria High that you can just line up almost wherever. And we're seeing that again with Demarion Zapata. I bet you could line up Zapata, running back or wide receiver, and the Lions would probably be pretty fine anyway. So again, it's just a team that's just is so well coached. They have a lot of football IQ, and just, I mean, you have athletes, you can put them in so many different spots.
Yeah, we're talking about their speed. Jenkins might be their speediest guy that they can offer. I don't think it gets much faster than that at the high school level.
And there are some track runners on this Peoria High team. Datarion Pollard is one of them, but Jenkins has one of the fastest times in the area, as I think this was a false start on the kickoff here from Peoria High. So they'll do things again with Pierre Pisano, their senior. They're a kicker, and again, onside kicks, if you do it as often as Peoria High, they practice it a lot as well. So I was at Normal West practice this week, and one of the last things they were doing was, had the hands team out there practicing recovering onside kicks. So this is something that they 1,000% expected coming into tonight.
Yeah, and it's kind of a cool wrinkle for Montgomery, knowing that his opponents have to practice this. So taking time away from some of the stuff that they might be focusing on usually to take time to practice these onside kicks, and he knows that his guys are some of the best in the area at this. So got to feel like that's an advantage if you're Coach Montgomery.
So take two on the onside kick. At least everyone in the building thinks it will likely be one. From the 35. There's a roller. It's on the ground, bouncing around, but I think the Wildcats got it. And it was indeed recovered there by Marcion Williams. Luke, talking about this Normal West team, you look at the Peoria High offensive coordinator, Asa Smith, there looking at being able to bounce back for Normal West. Again, this is a team that does not lose back-to-back games hardly ever. They're coming off a loss last week. The last time they lost back-to-back games was 2021, and it's never happened in the regular season since Nathan Fitcham has been the head coach. As you see, the Cat there playing with a spring. That's what the Wildcats do. They just spring right back.
Yeah, that's a great stat to show for a good team. You don't really want to have losing streaks. And under Fincham, this team of Normal West has not really had a losing streak or never had a losing streak. So trying to see if that continues tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The last time they lost 2 in a row was, again, week 9 of the 2021 regular season and then week 1 of the playoffs that year. And that was the first year, Luke, that Normal West faced off with East St. Louis in the playoffs. And I know this might be kind of a sore subject for the Wildcat fans, but they have faced the Flyers 4 years in a row in the Class 6A playoffs. So they were just hoping that they can not face ESL this year and perhaps maybe make a deep run.
Yeah, and kind of just their kryptonite is that East St. Louis team. A great
I
stat.
think they're about everyone's kryptonite.
Yeah, a great another stat that I found is that last year 5-0 was Normal West in games that were under two possessions or 2 scores. So a team that wins in close games and doesn't lose back-to-back. So that's a sign of a great team.
That bodes well for them so far right now, at least. Malik Givens-Smith bounced off a man and got down to the 40. A good pickup there on first down, Luke. With about 4.5 to go, you look at where they're at, probably not enough time to run out the clock. You see the Wildcats are going very quickly now. Givens-Smith back in the Wildcat. He's got the first down.
Yeah, so the Wildcats are going Wildcat here, also with the hurry up. So a little philosophy change here for Coach Fincham, as Sennett's not even out there. It's literally just Givens-Smith out there running that Wildcat, trying to look for Sennett on the sideline. I do see him next to the coaches, but
it's a bit of a low handoff. Cody Mulbauer. I saw Enrico White McMillan lined up at fullback on that play, Luke. So we're just seeing players in all sorts of spots tonight. We've already seen 4 different quarterbacks so far unbelievable.
Yeah, so Sennett will be back on this play, but I kind of like the mix-up there by Fincham, knowing that he can go to his guys and he can mix up this offense, kind of throw some curveballs to Montgomery, who's the DC for the Peoria Lions.
So it's a 2nd and 8 here. Handful of wide receivers, all to the right for Sennett. Mulbauer also to his right hand as well. Loaded box for the Lions. They've been showing it all night. Mulbauer is going to run and get brought down, but the legs keep on churning. The ball came out, and Peoria High says they have it. It appears that they do. We talked about Peoria High. They said they want 3+ turnovers a game. Well, there's number one right there.
Yeah, that was one of the things Montgomery hyped on. They got 6 against Manual, so exceeding expectations in that game, getting their first takeaway this game. And we've got some points to the other side here by West.
A single 3rd down.
And
so it's going to stay with the Wildcats, I believe.
Looks like Mulbauer was down. With a no replay, it kind of goes up to the ref's judgment there and call it. After some big celebrations from Peoria High, they're going to be lining up defensively once again.
It's an interesting thing to note, Luke. Again, you're excited, you're jumping up and down, you're celebrating with your team. Now you go back out there really quickly here for a big 3rd and 6. Sennett back to pass, has good protection. Now he's troubled. He is getting brought down. First guy there was big Dazon McCaston.
Yeah, Dazon McCaston, the guy we're going to talk about later. One guy Montgomery said was someone who will make you wonder if you love to play football. McCaston, one of those guys that makes a lot of noise in that Peoria High defensive line.
Here's the song, Here Comes the Boom, played on the speakers, and, well, Dazon McCaston brought the boom right there. That is a big sack for this Lions squad. So kind of a roller coaster there. West with a chance to score before the half. They lose the football, they get it back, then they get sacked on 3rd down. So 3rd time West is punted in about this same part of the field. And Sarek has already put 2 inside the 10. This one is another good-looking boot. Good coverage, takes a slight Peoria High roll. They'll take over at the 11, but Luke again, Dazon McCaston, a story from this guy. I remember seeing him as a sophomore, starting defensive end at Dunlap High School. Brett Calza was so high on him, said he was one of the best D linemen in the area. That's back when he was a sophomore. He transferred to Limestone last year, got hurt, didn't really play much. Now he's with the Peoria High Lions and looking to kind of finish off his career with a bang.
Yeah, and he's been making some noise here tonight. He's quick off the line, gets to the quarterback, and Montgomery just as high as on him as Cazalet was. So kind of an unorthodox journey, but the guy's making a difference no matter what.
Most definitely. 1st and 10 here from the 12. Zapata back out at quarterback. So he lost there on that run. And, Luke, this Peoria High team that, again, we talked about at the top of the broadcast, has such high expectations. They wanted to go to state. They know they can, as a player is down here for the Lions. But again, hopefully Green is okay, and we'll kind of monitor things the rest of the way and won't speculate. But again, if Breon Green has to, unfortunately, we hope this doesn't have to happen, but if he has to miss any sort of time, that really changes the dynamic of this Peoria High team the rest of these 4 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, that's going to change. Just flip your season on your head. I think Green's probably their best player. And he is the reason this team is so successful, as we see another Peoria High Lion down. But yeah, in the case of Green, he has been so dynamic all season, all of last year, and just hurts to see a guy like that kind of have to miss some time here in this game.
The injured player back up now here for the Lions. Let's try and see who that is. Luke, that was Zatarion Pollard. So now Peoria High is out there starting quarterback and running back at least for this next play.
Yeah, so Montgomery's really going to have to go to the drawing board here, losing his 2 biggest offensive weapons.
And ahead of a 2nd and 14 here. Clock is Approaching a minute and a half here to go in this first quarter. So Zapata will take this one in the shotgun. And a handoff, and he got tripped up right away, and a tackle again by Cade Gonzalez. This Peoria High offense, Luke, just looks a bit out of sync right now, I mean, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, losing your two best guys is going to throw you into a funk, and they're still doing a great job, at least on that last possession, of moving the ball, but Pollard was a big, big reason for that. So losing him is going to hurt us. We're going under a minute here. I think if you're Peoria High, just trying to get out of the half here.
I think they're going to be content to just kind of run some clock out here. Normal West has just one timeout, so maybe they get a stop here. Maybe they'll call one. Deshaun Anderson Davis is the man in the backfield now for the Lions. Here's a throw from Zapata, and he airmailed his intended target, and it's incomplete.
And that's something, if you're Normal West, you're like happy about that one. Stop the clock there. Maybe you can get the ball back, not have to waste a timeout. Maybe you can use a timeout when you have the ball. And kind of an interesting play call there to throw the ball, especially towards the sideline, knowing it's going to stop the clock. So I think we're going to see a punt here.
We shall see. Peoria did a pooch punt last time, and Normal West will send Baskins back. Very short at the 25. It's a short kick. It is blocked. Right on the goal line is a touchdown. It's either that or it's on the 1-yard line and inside of it. Special teams play there for the Wildcats, and it doesn't get any better than that for field position with 34 seconds to go.
Yeah, kind of a botched snap, went a little high, and the punter had to take a step forward to try and catch that, so
wasn't much room.
Yeah, gave it time for Normal West to get back there. And I'm thinking we're going to see a Given Smith here.
Yep, it is Given Smith in his black hoodie out there. And interesting note, both backup quarterbacks, Zapata and Given Smith, both donning hoodies here tonight. Beautiful night for weather here in Peoria. Given Smith is going to keep it, get a push, and no, he's getting pushed back. Peoria High's defense making a stop, so now the clock is still running. Normal West still has that timeout.
Yeah, what a stop there from the Peoria High defensive line. And we're trying to look at the time here, but they got this graphic going.
It's 16 now, down inside of 15. They'll hike it again.
Given
Smith sidesteps the man. What a move, and that's enough for 6. Malik Given Smith, another rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I think that was always the answer. Get your playmaker to the outside, make a man miss, and let him go to work. And I think that was kind of the belief there by Fincham. And what a move from Malik Given Smith. Juked that guy out of his socks to put Normal West up 6.
And so here's the PAT to put West up 21-14. Pretty close to what the final score of what this game was last year. It was 20-18. West was the victors. They've gone back and forth in this series. As we get a whistle here with 8 seconds to go. But Luke, what that does for West is massive. It gives you a score, a momentum boost going in the locker room, and also West receives the second half kickoff.
That's right. I forgot about that piece. That's a good point, John. And if you're Coach Fincham, you got to be pretty confident in your guys right now. The philosophy is working. Your backup quarterback's out there, but the Wildcat with Given Smith has provided positive yards and a touchdown there.
So a penalty there on the Wildcats. A little bit of a longer PAT, and it is through there by Sen. So it's a 7-point lead here for the Wildcats. And unless Peoria High can return a kick back or get a long scoring play, certainly in the cards. West will take a halftime lead here on the road, trying to bounce back from a tough loss to a very good Bloomington squad. And also, they also lost to Normal Community. We saw them in week 2. That's obviously a very good community squad as well. So, again, for those of you tuning in that see West is, they're 2-2. They are, again, like we said, much better than their record indicates.
Yeah, and a huge win if they could pull this one off. I think this would really, jumpstart their season and give them confidence to win out. I think they can with their schedule coming up. And winning this game kind of reignites their hope to win this conference. Mm-hmm. And beating this team would give them a big leg up on that. Also beating Peoria and Notre Dame in there. So got a whole another half of football to play, but a great first half for the Wildcats.
I would agree as well. It's been a fun one so far. Still a little bit of a climb for the Wildcats with 2 conference losses, but again, anything is possible. A bit of a squibber here near the sidelines. Peoria High hoping it goes out of bounds. It stays in. Here's Kyrion Woodard. Goes one direction, back the other way, and he's brought down on a good special teams tackle there by Hudson Romero, senior linebacker. So 2 seconds to go here. You don't have the arm of Green. Maybe go for a screen pass or something here. What do you do here at 2 seconds to go at your own 17 to try and maybe get a big play?
Honestly, if I'm Coach Montgomery, I'm just trying to minimize the damage here. Just kind of take the snap and just be on with it. Try to go into the locker room and create some positives in this second half.
We'll see if that's the approach they take. Again, it's not often where that Peoria High plays it conservatively, but given the situation, maybe they will here. So again, Pollard was injured on the last possession. Green was out for a few plays as well. So Melvin Jenkins in the backfield with Zapata at quarterback.
I'm excited to see Jenkins in the backfield here. See if he can create some space and let the legs
He's still up
loose.
on his feet. There goes Melvin Jenkins, still up, but he's brought down by Malik Given-Smith. Could have been a big one for Jenkins, who already has a touchdown in this one, but Normal West takes a 21-14 lead into halftime, Luke. It's been just a resilient showing from them so far, rolling with the punches and handling a good Peoria High team so far.
Yeah, they've done a great job, especially defensively, slowing them down. I know that they've been given some cards dealt to them that are pretty good with the 2 injuries, so not good things for Peoria High. I would like to see that type of play run again for Jenkins. I mean, that's a guy who's got insane speed and can get to the outside, and I hope we see that type of play again in the second half.
We'll see what the second half brings. We'll send to a quick break here in our WMBD Game of the Week here on CI Proud. Stay tuned, though, for a halftime show. We caught up with some Normal West players and some Peoria High players for some fun interviews as well. Right back after this.
Peoria Production Solutions is a unique not-for-profit manufacturing company. For over 80 years, our mission is to be the premier employer of individuals with disabilities. We are committed to providing employment, training, and encouragement to people with all types of disabilities. With 300 employees at our 2 facilities, we continue expanding our capabilities and growing our team. We are Peoria Production Solutions. Higher performance, higher standards.
Trade up to a better future. Trade up to a job you enjoy. Trade up to trade school. At Midwest Technical Institute, you get the skills you need to start a career that moves you up in life towards your goals, your passions, and your dreams. Choose from programs including welding, HVAC, medical and dental assisting, medical coding, and more. Earn the experience, knowledge, and confidence to change your life. Trade school is just the beginning. Start your journey today at midwesttech.edu.
At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we're out to sell $20 million of new Chevys in 2025, and we'll do whatever it takes to hit our goal. We'll save you thousands by discounting every new Chevy in stock and giving more for your trade. We'll check all the options to get you the best interest rate, plus every rebate possible to save you even more. When we sell a new Chevrolet, each of the 365 days this year, we stay on track. Will you be the next to make our day and be our one new Chevrolet? The math is simple. One new Chevrolet every day. That's the bottom.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Happy birthday from Alexander Steakhouse. Come celebrate your birthday with us, and you'll get a free dessert and up to a $20 credit on your meal. For details or reservations, call Alexander Steakhouse in Peoria or Normal.
At Alexander Steakhouse, we're more than steaks, we're entertainment. Pick one of our hand-cut steaks, cook over the open grill, or have us prepare it for you. Steaks, seafood, chicken, and Central Illinois' best salad bar. Alexander Steakhouse, where the best cook is you.
Welcome back to Peoria Stadium. We're going to look at Old Glory there, overseeing halftime here between the Normal West Wildcats and the Peoria High Lions. Wildcats lead at 21-14 after a late touchdown run by Malik Givens-Smith. 2 touchdown passes from Chase Sennett to Efoy Baskins in the first quarter had the Wildcats up, but Peoria High still right in it as well. We got a chance to catch up with both teams earlier this week, and I had a chance to talk with Nasir Hurd and Malik Givens-Smith of Normal West. I'm here with Nasir Hurd and Malik Givens of Normal West. Guys, obviously a big week for you guys this week. I mean, you guys have played, we talked about it earlier, a brutal first 4 weeks. I mean, a really tough schedule. Some wins, some losses. What do you guys have taken away from a very important first few weeks?
We just go by week, game plan by game plan, want to execute it as a team, but we just need to come as a team and trust each other. That's the biggest thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, from our losses that we've had, it's mostly on us, our mental mistakes, and I feel like if we fix that, our team would definitely go far.
Definitely. Well, this Wildcats team, always one to watch. Guys, I know the playoff tradition is very strong here for you guys. I mean, what do you guys remember, from last year's playoff run and just any Normal West teams in the past that you guys have been able to kind of learn from and take into this year?
I feel like last year is kind of like a cycle. It's like the same thing kind of happened, but I feel like this team is very much better, and we can just come together and go farther than we did last year. I definitely key off that last year game, that Simeon game. We definitely had a good game as a unit, and I feel like this year we can do the same thing and even push further in the playoffs. I don't think we should see East St. Louis this year, so that's why I think we could push further this year.
Definitely. Well, guys, you guys, I know, are both guys that worked very, very hard during the offseason. Nasir, you got becoming kind of a full-time starter now, and Malik taking that next step as well. What did you guys do during the offseason just to kind of prepare for this year?
I'll say I was hungry. Last year I didn't play as much. I was on the sideline watching everybody play, and that grind mode just came towards me, and I'm like, I want to play. I want to do something for this team.
For sure.
I definitely was getting back in the weight room, getting stronger for this year because I know I was going to take a big load playing both sides of the ball. So I was really trying to get in the weight room a lot, get my endurance ready for the season. And I feel like I'm just bringing the energy and the captain to the team. So, yeah.
For sure. And guys, I know, from last year, every team is always different. You guys brought a lot back from last year, including both of you guys, a couple other starters. There's also a lot of, every team is new every year. What's maybe kind of different, maybe kind of better about this year's team as compared to maybe last year?
I say the chemistry. When we all click, it's like a beautiful thing. And if we keep doing that, then I don't think anybody can stop us for the rest of the season. Yeah, I would definitely say our chemistry, but also our box is definitely better this year. I feel like our defensive line and our linebackers, their chemistry together was better than usual.
For sure. And both you guys are seniors, correct? Is that so? Last year, suiting up in the Wildcats uniform. What about football is just your favorite aspect about it? What makes you love being out there on Friday night so much?
I just say playing with my brothers like Malik. Me and Malik been friends for a very long time. So just being on the field together and while we making plays, the energy, I feel like I really just play football for them. Yeah, I definitely play football for the love of the game and like my brothers, like he said. And I just like going on the field with the people I've been living with and being around my whole life and just getting a fun experience to be with the crowd at the Normal West field every day.
For sure. Well, again, two guys that are making a big impact here for this West team this year. Again, Nasir Hurd, Emily Givens-Smith. Got to keep an eye on them the rest of the season. Guys, back up to you in the booth. And welcome back to Peoria Stadium. Getting treated to a show from the Peoria High Band. Rocking and rolling, swinging and grooving over there across the way. And a fun one here in our WMBD Game of the Week. Jonathan Michael, Luke Young here with you in the booth. And Luke, really the overarching theme of this one so far that we did not have on any of our bingo cards whatsoever. We have seen 5 different quarterbacks tonight.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of Wildcat on both sides. It's been a lot of Malik Given-Smith and a lot of Zapata on the other side with the injury to Green. But a lot of Wildcat, which is something I did not prep for. I prepped for a big, flashy offense from Green, and then the other side, Drew Mangrum, we didn't see him at all. So 2 things that I was prepared for I did not see coming, but I'm excited to see how the run games will evolve throughout this game. Will we see a lot more Wildcat, or will we see just some more handoffs like at the end that we saw at Jenkins?
Yeah, for sure. And also, again, that Wildcat that touchdown from Malik Given-Smith. Again, Normal West, I mentioned it on the second week that we saw them back against Normal Community. They are used to facing, kind of an interesting situation at quarterback. Last year, again, Mangrum was hurt, and then they had to kind of find a new answer. They had 2 injuries, actually, at quarterback last year, and had their wide receiver, Cooper Temples, end up finishing the year at quarterback. So, again, they find a way to make it work. So, again, it's a team that just can adapt, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds and seeing maybe if we see Sennett back out there, or maybe we see Green or Datarion Pollard too as well, who also got banged up in that first half.
Yeah, unfortunate injuries for Peoria High, their 2 best offensive players, not able to finish that half. Both injuries didn't seem too serious. Both were able to walk off with their own wit, so that's a good positive sign for both of those players. But the score doesn't really reflect what we talked about either. It's 21-14. I expected this halftime score to be pretty high, either on one side, especially for Peoria High. I was excited to see their potent offense I was heard about so much. We kind of saw a little bit of that when Green was in on his touchdown run. And then on the other side, for Normal West, they wanted to drag out some of these possessions. We saw 3 punts in a row before a great special teams play on a blocked punt to set them up for a touchdown. So we'll see if they drag on these possessions a lot more now with the lead and the injuries that have been coming their way.
Well, again, hopefully everyone is okay. It's still been a very fun game to watch regardless. Back and forth action. Normal West led 14-0 after the first quarter. And Peoria High came back, tied it up at 14. And then a blocked punt again with just 8 seconds to go before halftime led to a short rushing score for Malik Given-Smith. Well, talking about the Peoria High Lions, and then we're going to hear from them right after this. And we take a quick break here at our WMBD Game of the Week from Peoria Stadium.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Eclipse Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
your stories,
your stats and standings, your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts.
As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better. With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds.
CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action.
More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
Welcome back. It's still halftime here at Peoria Stadium. Big 12 action. 2 great teams going at it, Normal West and Peoria High. Lions trail right now, but we had a great time catching up with them, with their big lineman, Jaquarius Green, and Datarion Pollard earlier in the week to hear their thoughts on many different things about playing for the Lions.
How we still are able, we are still bonding. We still coming together as a team, And as we figuring that out through the season, we're going to get more and more dangerous.
Just working all season, speed, everything, agility, all that, strength, and just getting better at the game and being more comfortable with the guys and having a strong relationship with the linemen.
The line means a lot. Like, we opened up a lot of holes for Detorian. So it's not just always him. We got to get some praise too, but I'm not really more so looking for the praise. I'm just doing my job.
Leaving a mark here for the young students, the young players, teaching them what to do, what's right and what's wrong, and just leading. My favorite part is bonding, team dinner, getting close with the guys and friends and stuff, and coaches.
The feeling is great. Just going out there ready to compete, drop another high-scoring game. That's about it.
Yeah, state, that's all we looking for is state. That's the goal. That's the mindset right now, is state.
Well, we mentioned it last week. It's also Friday night for the Flyers as well. They're out under the lights here at Peoria Stadium. Again, halftime show, getting a look at some of the other scores around the area. Luke, let's take a live look in. You can watch this game right now live on ClutchSportsIsle.com. You're seeing exactly what's going on right there. Morton and Pekin tied up in the second quarter, Luke. That's overall looks like a good game so far, and a Pekin team that needs a bounce-back win, just like Normal West does.
Yeah, I did the Pekin game 2 weeks ago against Dunlap, and that game was an absolute storybook. They're the Pekin quarterback I was a big fan of, and they're a pretty solid team. They got a good running back. They got a really good quarterback, and
Rogan Manassi.
Yep, yeah, and that should be an exciting game between Morton and Pekin for sure.
Again, you can roll up both games at the same time. Again, watch that one on our YouTube page or ClutchSportsIsle.com. And our game will most likely end before that one, so you can watch the end of this one and then tune in for the end of that one. Maybe another overtime game in Pekin, who knows? But we'll have our eye on that tonight. Take a look at some of the other scores in the area. Look, not a ton of close games, although there are some in the Big 12. Normal Community leads Emmanuel 49-0. Abingdon, Avon, and Princeville, small school action, is tied up 14-14 at halftime. Champaign Central and Richwoods, another Big 12 game. Two teams looking for a big win in the Big 12. I kind of knew the bottom of the standings, but the Maroons lead 14-7. How about Rochester putting up a number on Normal U-High right now, 49-0. Luke, I know you saw them in Week 1. That's a very good U-High team, but a Rochester team that's even better.
Yeah.
And you look at some other scores too. Hayworth leading Fisher 21-zip. Washington 41-8 over Limestone. Metamora 32-8 over Canton. And also Bloomington leading big over Urbana on their homecoming, 41-0. Also one more, El Paso, Gridley, and Tri-Valley. EPG leads at 21-14. Two state-ranked 2A squads going at it down there in Downs this week. Take a look at kind of around the horn. This is what's going on in some other sports besides football here for Normal West and Peoria High. Normal West soccer, take a look at them. They are 11-0-1, number 4 in Class 2A right now, at least according to Max Preps. Depending on how accurate you believe their rankings are, give or take, but still a very good year for the Wildcats. Also in girls golf, Maddie Bierbaum was just voted our Clutch Sports Media Girls Athlete of the Week last week, so congratulations to her. Stay tuned for a story about her and what she's been up to, and get to know her on CSM Overtime. And also, Normal West getting some new sports next year, Luke. They just announced at the school board meeting last week that Normal West and Normal Community are adding girls flag football and boys volleyball starting next year. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I grew up in a pretty small town myself, and we never had any of those sports, so that's cool. That's cool to see some of these bigger schools adding on to their athletic departments with those new sports.
Well, Normal Community and West will be the only schools around here that have a boys volleyball team. There's a lot of schools in Chicago that have it, some schools down here in St. Louis, none in our area right now. They will be the first starting next year. That's going to be very exciting. Again, for Normal West. For Peoria High, they have a girls flag football team as well. They're 3-3 on the season. They'll take on Belleville West tomorrow. Volleyball got a win on the year. Younger team for Cassandra Golf. They beat Manual a few weeks ago. And also in boys golf, Caden Turner, who's also much more known as a star basketball player for the Lions. He's also on the golf team now this year for the Lions, and he shared out pretty well at the Big 12 Conference Tournament, tying for 32nd earlier this week. So that's what's kind of going on in all the other sports here for Peoria High and Normal West. We'll take a quick break here and come back with kickoff and the second half. You're watching Big 12 football on Clutch Sports Media.
Walk to Bowl is your flavorful destination for Asian cuisine and culinary artistry in Bloomington. From curries and stir fries to noodle bowls, desserts, and more, Walk to Bowl has something for everyone. Experience the flavor from our bold and exciting menu today.
Family banking from a name you trust, Hometown Community Banks. For over 6 decades, we've been here right where you needed us. High-quality banking services delivered by caring professionals, people just like you who live and love Central Illinois. It's a history we're proud of, and one we'll continue to offer to every person who walks through our doors. When you bank in your hometown, your money stays in your hometown. Hometown Community Banks, divisions of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower and you'll know we have time for you.
Passionate, focused, strong. Qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
Champions aren't just made on the scoreboard. They're built through teamwork, leadership, and setting an example that makes us all proud. Turks Collision Center is proud to celebrate the student athletes of Central Illinois because their victories reach far beyond the game.
Back live at Peoria Stadium, second half action getting ready to go underway with Normal West leads at 21-14. West playing with backup quarterback, Peoria High playing with their backup quarterback. And again, like we said, not really a new thing for West, because again, last year, unfortunately, Drew Mangrum had to miss some time. He had missed the last 8 games of the season last year. Got off to a hot start so far this year. Was a second-team all-conference player last year. So again, we'll get to monitor it throughout the season. Again, he may very well just come back next week, and we'll see. But again, no matter who's under center, Normal West is they've got an answer.
Yeah, their backup quarterback so far, he's been pretty formidable so far for them. And yeah, they're not used to having Mangrum out. So we thought he was going to play coming into this game, but something we didn't expect as we saw them line up for their first possession. But Mangrum, hopefully he's doing okay, what's ever going on, the reason he couldn't make it.
He's also a great kid, too. Again, a player that I've gotten to talk to a lot over the years for Normal West. So, again, a lot of great players on both these squads that, again, we've become pretty familiar with over the years. Drew Mangrum, Jaquarius Green, also one of them as well. So, again, Normal West leading here on the road. And, Luke kind of talking, revisiting our keys to the game. For Normal West, we're talking about, again, just getting stops and, getting turnovers as well. And, no plays off either. And so far, they haven't really gotten burned on any huge plays so far. So they've done a good job of that.
Yeah, they just had that big run there, but outside the end zone there by Pollard, I believe, was the runner. And then just the big play for the touchdown was the only play that I think they've taken off. Maybe you could say if you asked Fincham, they'd take some offensive plays off just because of the fact that they've punted three times in a row. They punted in that first half. So for them, I believe it's been a good start, especially defensively so far.
Most definitely. And again, some of the things that we were watching too, again, is Normal West second half scoring again. They've struggled a bit more to find the end zone in half number 2. They averaged 33 points a game. They've scored 97 so far this year in the first half, but just 35 in the second. So big thing is going to be able to come out and, score at least a few touchdowns to, just keep staying in front because, again, this Peoria High team can strike so fast.
Yeah, for sure, and that might be limited by their injuries, obviously. But, yes, the second half has been the big story for Normal West so far in this season. Their play and their stats have dipped in the second half. Will we see that same sort of narrative in this second half against a talented Peoria High team, regardless of the injuries that they have? And just athletes everywhere for that team, so we'll see if that can come through in this second half.
Now winding down here for halftime, under a minute before we get started. Peoria High got back out on the field a little bit more earlier this time than they did before kickoff. In case you weren't tuned in at the start of our broadcast, Peoria High took the field at about 6:59 when kickoff was at 7 p.m. So they were spending a little extra time in the locker room getting ready for this one. But it's been a fun one so far, again, here in our WMBD Game of the Week. And a lot more games coming your way, too, as well. And a great shot there of the moon, I believe that is, here tonight. Fantastic job from our camera crew tonight, Patrice Cusick and Ryan Angelo. A little bit, it looks like a
crescent.
A waning crescent.
Yep.
Never really paid too much attention in those. I don't even know what class you learned phases of the moon in, probably science.
Science, yeah.
But that was a long time ago, but I do remember my my moon phases, and crescents are always good ones. And big fan of the waxing gibbous, just because it's fun to say. So, yeah, Normal West will receive this kick after scoring just before the half. We'll see if they can recover it so far. Peoria High has not had a successful onside kick so far tonight. Here's Pisano, a little dribbler bouncing up and falling on there at the 44-yard line. There by number 7, Kanoa Hosea on the hands team there for the Wildcats. So look as we try and get to see who is the quarterback will be. It looks like Sennett might be back out there. He's in the huddle right now with Nathan Finchup.
Yeah, I saw him warming up during halftime. I think Sennett's going to get the run again. But we did see a lot of Wildcat from that offense in that first half. So maybe we see some of that again.
So again, good field position for the Wildcats at the 44. Here's a snap, handoff to Mulbauer, running into some traffic, trying to cut it back and runs right into a maroon jersey. Yeah. Again, I think that was McCaston, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not much going there whatsoever from Mulbauer. Didn't have much space on that outside, but I like the play call there to try to get his playmaker to the outside there by Fincham.
Oh, 2nd and 13. That goes as a loss of 3. And wideouts, keep an eye on. You got Baskin to the top of your screen. Peyton is in the slot. Given Smith is also in the slot, closest to the offensive line. Here's the throw, looking for Given Smith, and right on him was Darion Mays. So there's that matchup we were talking about, Luke. Given Smith on Darion Mays.
Finally, we actually get a throw towards Given Smith on Mays. I was waiting for that all week to see that, and Given Smith looking for the flag there on that kind of slant, but there was some contact early, but I believe they were going for the ball for sure.
As a good coverage there from Darion Mays, one of 3 or 4 all-conference returners in that secondary for the Lions. I mean, Darion Mays, Demarion Zapata, who again, in case you didn't know, 3 pick sixes last week against Manual. Unbelievable game for him. Titavion Alexander, Melvin Jenkins, all conference picks in the secondary last year for the Lions, and they all return. 3rd and 13 here for Sennett. He's going to pass again when it was in some traffic. He was looking for Peyton.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we've seen 2 passing touchdowns here for Normal West with that secondary of Peoria High kind of being a no-fly zone with all that experience. When we talked to Coach Montgomery, he talked about how him as a defensive coordinator and his secondary kind of share the same wavelength of what they're trying to do, and it gives him a lot of comfortability as a defensive coordinator knowing his secondary is that experienced.
Most definitely, especially when you guys got guys like Julian Lowe at linebacker and Dazan McCaston on the D-line too. Punt is away. It's another solid one there from Haseric before Baskins downs it at the 25 rather. Look, I don't know about you. I thought that ball may have had another bounce or 2 left in it.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ifoy Baskin's teammate kind of told him that while they were standing there. But regardless, some solid field position here for Peoria High.
And a solid punt to you from Haseric. Yeah. I mean, he's not necessarily sending booming kicks on the field, but giving him a good 30, 40 yards each time.
Yeah, none of his kicks are like off to the side or anything. Every single one kind of seems like just straight down the pipe, and you can sacrifice some distance for accurate kicks like that.
Oh, Luke, I know as a golfer, that's kind of at least what I try and do. I'm not the longest hitter, but I try and at least kind of keep it in play, just kind of make my way around the course. Kind of the same approach there for Haseric. Here's a handoff to the Lions back. I think that might be Pollard back in the game, and he is. So that's a good sign for the Lions. He's brought down on the ankles by Taekwon Page.
Yeah, so that's a big, big sign for their offense is their lead guy, Pollard, is back. But we still don't see Green out there as Zapata is the guy in the behind center. Do see somebody warming up there on the track.
Try and see if maybe that could be Green. Is a run up the middle, and it's Pollard again. He's brought down at about the 42 there by Marquel Letcher. And both players, both Pollard and Green, seem to have gone off under their own power.
Yeah, and I think over there behind the kind of over by the offensive coordinator of Peoria High, Green might be warming up. Kind of looks like him. I can't see that far.
That is Green. That is Green warming up and getting loose on the sidelines.
Yeah, so a great run there from Pollard once again. He's kind of moving this train of this Peoria High offense as we've got a 4th and 1 up, I believe, coming up here.
That's a good news again for the Lions again. So looks like both at least starting quarterbacks may be back in this one. We'll see what Green does. 3rd and 2 here. Zapata hands off to Pollard, and he's pushed back. Luke, that defensive line again on paper doesn't look the biggest, but my, they've come to play tonight.
Yeah, it's been a lot of grit, a lot of toughness from that defensive line. They've stopped Pollard a number of times on these short yardage plays. And as we see Green on that sideline, standing there warming up, he's been throwing it back and forth for a little bit here since the start of the second half.
So 4th and 2, it still is Zapata, though, taking this snap. West kind of loading the box, probably assuming a run here. And how about Jamarion Zapata getting them with a hard count, taking some page out of Breon Green's play because I think that was Amari Lee that jumped off sides there for West. He's going to come off to the sideline.
Yeah, he's going to hear about it from Coach Finch for sure on that one. Just a little advantageous to get off the line knowing it was probably going to be a run play, and he could have stopped that before it even began.
Yeah, Normal West D-line has had so many playmakers tonight. And that penalty is going to give the Lions a first down at midfield. Zapata's going to pass this one, and it was on line to Mays, who kind of hops up, wanted that one,
Yeah,
just
Mays
a bit underthrown.
Open. If he would have got that ball, there was nothing but green space out in front of him as long as he doesn't get taken down by his initial defender. And I would have hopped up and down if I was Mays, too. He was open.
And Mays and Rayford overall been fairly quiet for the Lions. There was a big play that Mays had in the first quarter. Rayford, I think, also has a catch tonight. But I believe, Luke, only about 2 or 3 completed passes for the Lions tonight, which you just don't see very often from this team. So here's a 2nd and 10 from midfield. Zapata gonna hesitates, passes, and falls incomplete again. That time he was looking for Rayford, and Page would have been right there to bring him down. And they have another Lion down. Looks like that's an O lineman. And looks like that is number 72. We don't see a 72 on our roster. So again, maybe some roster work needed for Peoria High to get some of these guys on there. But again, last week, Luke, we were talking, Normal West. Crampon was a big part of that game. And might be the case here. Don't want to speculate at all. But again, Crampon has played a big role, I think, in I think a lot of teams across the year in these first few weeks.
Yeah, and it was a big reason why Coach Fincham wanted to drag some of these possessions out here from Normal West. And I think they've done a pretty good job of that so far when they've been able to move the ball. As the players still down here. 8:47 to go here in the second half. 21-14 is your score as the Wildcats lead. The Lions still waiting on an update for Green as we saw him warming up on the sideline. A good sign for Peoria High.
And the injured lineman helped to his feet again. Unfortunately, I wish we knew who that was, but number 72 for the Lions putting a little bit of weight there on that ankle, so a good sign there for that offensive line. So they'll face a 3rd and 10 here from midfield. And Zapata 2 incomplete passes. So I think you probably hear, I think you're trying to go to Pollard to at least pick up something and set up a fourth and a little bit more manageable. And Breon Green, what do you know, is back out there for the Lions.
Yeah, but good to see him come back. We saw him warm up on the sideline, and I saw him throw a ball all the way to the sideline. I was like, there's no way that was Zapata. Green, it has to be under center.
No offense to Demarion Zapata, but the snap is well over Green's head, and it's going to be recovered by the Wildcats. 3 of them were all there. And coming away with the football was Keegan Brown, a costly mishap for Peoria High on 3rd down.
And so we're just talking about how Green comes back to kind of like restart this Peoria High offense, and they turn the ball over on a high snap. And you're talking about that new center that Peoria High has in, and it pays off. It pays dividends there on that turnover. And 2 takeaways on fumbles, or, well, I guess that was a block punt over there, but 2 takeaways for Normal West here in this game.
And again, it sets up in great field position inside the 30-yard line. Again, yeah, either that center snap was either from Trace Branch, who we didn't have a number for either, so that could have been him. It also could have been another guy as well, a new center. So 1st and 10 now from the 29-yard line. And Givens back out there at quarterback. So the revolving door continues, and Mulbauer is stuffed right there by the Peoria High D-line. That includes, again, Jaquarius Green, Dazon McCaston, and 2 guys that Aaron Montgomery called the Wolf Pack position, Kendrick Owens and Judah Robertson, kind of those edge rushers. I mean, interesting, fun names that some of these coaches have for some of these positions. Here's Givens on the keeper. Staying upright, picking up of about 3 or 4. You know, Luke, what's so impressive about Givens Smith, again, not a big guy, 5'9", 170, and he just has no fear whatsoever when he's running the football against some large linemen.
Yeah, those are some guys that are significantly larger than him, and he is just running head first into that pile, and he's definitely got the speed to break away from it, so I like this little Wildcat duo they got going here.
And it's back to Givens here, 3rd and 6. Mulbauer has a lead blocker, but is blown up right at the line of scrimmage, and a big tackle there from Keewan Jordan. Junior linebacker bursted through. Mulbauer, you saw him kind of push his blocker in the right direction, but couldn't stop Jordan there.
4th and 6 here, so kind of stepping into no man's land. That's right. And we'll see, does the kicker have the leg? I think they're going to go for this.
I think so. It would be
Sennett's
about
walking out there.
It would be about a 42, 41 yarder from right there, which is a bit of a tall ask for most high school teams.
That's
so 4th and 5. Baskins at the bottom of your screen. He's got 2 touchdown catches tonight. So keep an eye on Givens in the slot too. Looking his direction is Sennett going for the touchdown, bringing it in, C.J. Payton. Big touchdown throw and catch. That's 3 touchdown passes, all on beautiful balls from Chase Sennett.
What a throw from Chase Sennett right there, over the outstretched defender right into the breadbasket of C.J. Payton. What a catch and throw right there. I've been super impressed with Sennett and his arm so far tonight. And he got hit on that throw too.
Yeah, in the face of some pressure, as an impressive throw from a sophomore quarterback. In that situation, it's a 2-score lead now for the Wildcats. And the point after is through. They lead at 28-14. That's Peyton's first touchdown catch of the year, and it couldn't have come in a much bigger time.
Yeah, he's going to put that highlight on Huddle too. That was a great throw from Sennett and a great way by Peyton to keep the concentration to just bring that one in without bobbling that ball.
Good stuff, John. Good stuff.
So we'll see how Peoria High responds here, down 2 touchdown scores.
Yeah, this is kind of a big situation here for the Lions, right? Halfway through the 3rd quarter, you're down 2 scores. You score right back, and it's right back to a tight game again. But if, again, you have those empty possessions, those turnovers on downs, that was our key to the game, or one of them for the Lions. things, might be starting to look maybe a bit more dicey as we head into the fourth quarter here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if we see Green for a full possession here. And we only saw him for that one play. We didn't really see him at all. And hopefully he can lead this Lions team back.
And again, having Green back again does significantly revitalize this Peoria High offense. And the kick brought in at the 20. Here's Darion Mays trying to go laterally east-west. He's brought down. He went straight south there on that tackle. And another good special teams play there by Robert Rick, it looked like.
Yeah, he was all the way on the numbers, and he tried to cross all the way to the other side of the field. And that, from my football experience, I never actually played. I usually don't think that works.
In Madden.
Maybe in Madden. I was just about to say, Madden in college football, maybe that works, but usually an advantageous strategy in my opinion.
It is. And it's one that I admittedly, I do try that a lot. It's kind of a big risk, big reward, but, Mays, again, has the speed. Peoria High, they do have, you see a lot of these touchdowns they have, they do kind of cut across the field and just try and beat guys with their speed and athleticism. That time, West was all over that. Nice play from the special teams. So Green is back out there. A bit of a miscommunication. Asa Smith, their offensive coordinator, yelling to Green, a bit confused there. Now he'll trot back out there. I think Zapata there was right by Smith, the offensive coordinator, almost ready to come back in. Say, hey, Coach, I'm ready. Now Breon Green going back out there here on 1st and 10. Another high snap. Handoff going to Pollard. He's got some space. Pollard's still on his feet. They can't bring him down until he gains about 20 yards there. That's a big carry from the senior.
Yeah, that's got to feel good if you're Pollard. I mean, that is a big run after a high snap. Usually after those high snaps, we don't see a positive play after that, especially when you're trying to time the handoff of the running back. But what a run there from Pollard.
And Pollard had 100-yard games in week 1 and week 2. Got a little bit more of a breather last week. Still had some big plays against Manual. He gives the Lions a first down at the 44. Green back out there in the shotgun. He's looking to pass, looking down the left side. One-on-one coverage, and the catch. Was it made inbounds? It was not. It was a great grab there on the sideline. I think that was Rayford, but not enough real estate to work with.
Yeah, guarded by Given Smith there, too. I was hoping that might have been Mays, but I believe you're right. That was Rayford.
So it sets up a 2nd and 10.
That was a great catch, though, regardless of if he was in bounds or not.
Phenomenal grab. Another high snap. Green is going to keep this one, scurrying to the outside, and runs to the safety of the Lions sideline after a pickup of a few. But again, Luke, we haven't really seen, we've seen some good, kind of 15, 20-yard plays. No real long house calls tonight for this Lions offense.
Yeah, that's right. And these high snaps are not helping that cause, too. It's been a lot of just tough stuff for Green since he's come back in to get his flow going after those high snaps. But I was waiting for him to kind of explode off of that out of the pocket here, and we haven't seen that tonight.
Run up the gut, picks up about 4 or so. They'll set up a 4th and 4 for the Lions, who have not fared that well on 4th tonight unless it's been a hard count by Green. It's been 2 times where an offsides penalty has given them the first. Got to be disciplined here on the D-line for West. They packing them all in. And that might be a false start on the wide receiver, I believe. Again, that might have been.
He took off.
Can't tell if that was Rayford or Mays on the far side of the field, but he was ready to go down. That was Darion Mays.
Yeah.
So that'll back him up and make it 4th and about.
I think they accepted
9
it.
or so.
Oh, no, they didn't. Excuse me.
False starts are pretty much always
accepted. Yeah.
Accepted. But see what they do on 4th and 9. Green snap, clean this time. Throw is incomplete. Good defensive play there by Ryan Carmona to break that one up, and no flags on the field.
I thought there might have been. That looks like a little bit of early contact, but refs did see it that way, and some good defense again by Normal West to keep their lead at 14.
Yeah, and again, they have a chance to, for the first time tonight, make it a three-score lead rather. And 4:56 to go in this third quarter. Again, 21-14 at halftime. West led 14-0 at the end of the first quarter on those two early touchdown catches by Efoy Baskins.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of change in philosophy here. Maybe some longer possessions, even longer than we've been accustomed to for Normal West, to try and run some of this clock, get out and go home here.
And the clock is your friend. If you're the Wildcats in this position right now, you want to be thinking, hey, let's get back on the bus as soon as possible for the Lions. Make a mad dash to come back. Here's Given Smith running for the first down. What a resilient effort. He may have still stayed on his feet. I don't even know if his knee touched down, Luke.
Yeah, I think he stayed up. I think he fell onto a Peoria High player, and great just awareness to keep going there, and Given Smith hobbling off the sideline now.
That was a very physical run, so he'll come out for at least a play. Marcion Williams, again, that freshman wide receiver back on the field for the Wildcats. Haven't seen him catch one so far tonight, but he has been kind of the number 3, number 4 wideout for the Wildcats this year, and I'm very excited to see what he does after Given Smith and graduates this year and Baskins graduates the year after that. Senate will hand off to Mulbauer, and not much doing there, Luke. We've talked about Peoria High, or Normal West having a good run defense tonight, but the Lions have also kind of bottled up Mulbauer too.
Yeah, we haven't really called Mulbauer's name on some big plays so far, just kind of that screen pass in that first half, but not many breakaways for Mulbauer so far. And with Given Smith on the sideline, I think Peoria High knew there was going to be a run coming up there.
Given Smith is back out on the field now for this play.
Might have just twisted his ankle. Common thing.
Yeah, good news to see again. Thankfully, most of the players that we've seen go down have come back, which is what we like to see here tonight. Second and 10 from the 32, and everyone on both teams is in the box. Now Senate going back to throw. Looking for a pass. It's incomplete. No flag. It looked like the receiver, that was Williams, just kind of fell down.
Yeah, it looked like a little trip on the turf there. Like John said, loss to the turf monster right there. And, good call by the referee to not throw a flag there.
Turf monster is everywhere. I'm sure there's
undefeated.
Turf monster is up in Chicago tonight. He's down here. There's must be a whole network of them across the entire country. 3rd and 10 now from the 32. As they bring up Mo Bamba here on the speakers at Peoria High. They're really not quite the whiteout Penn State Mo Bamba that many people may know. Senate looking to throw on 3rd down. Dangerous pass. Great coverage, though, defensively, as Senate was looking for Efoy Baskins. I think that might have been Melvin Jenkins there on the coverage.
Yeah, it was Jenkins going step for step with Baskins there, and had some words for him after the play, too. So a little bit extracurriculars even while you're down 14 from Baskins there.
And this rivalry is, it's been such a good one over the years. They're not really a geographic rivalry, obviously, but just because they've played so many close games.
And I think Senate's just trying to get him off sides here.
So 4th and 12 from the 34. Wildcat offense is still on the field.
Yeah, I think they're trying to draw him off sides, but a timeout.
And it'll be a timeout. And Luke, we talked about the again, just the great battles that we've seen between both of these teams, over the years. I mean, it has been back and forth. Look at the series history. Last year, Normal West won 20-18. Peoria High won in 2023 as well as 2021, but they have just alternated back and forth. And you look at some of these kind of high-powered scores too as well.
Yeah, holy smokes. Those are some of the scores that I expected tonight, but 62-41, that must have been one of the most fun games to watch ever. I mean,
we were here for that one.
Oh, yeah? That's awesome. But, some of you do some of these high school games around here, around this Peoria area, and you're going to get a lot of rivalries.
Again, there's two teams that, again, maybe not even teams that are, again, close geographically, 45 minutes or so away from each other. But if you played each other close, kind of go back and forth, you're going to have a rivalry that kind of starts eventually. And that's what Nathan Fincham said earlier this week. He said, I think we kind of view it as a rivalry, and I think that Peoria High does as well.
Yeah, rivalries are always good for sports, too.
Most definitely. So here's 4th and 12 from the 34. Mulbauer in motion. Sennett driving back to pass, has time to throw. Another good ball. Looking, it would have been a one-handed grab.
Flag.
As a flag down. It looks like Sennett was looking for number 80, Cade Gonzalez. A wide receiver is also, again, that D lineman as well. We'll see what this flag is. It's on West. Ball should go back to the Lions here. Offensive pass interference, the official call.
Yeah, and that's something that we see very often. Some of the West players look pretty relieved there, thinking that they got bailed out on that deep throw. But turnover on downs, and we'll see the Peoria High offense here. And Peoria High coming out here, we're going to see some pretty aggressive play, I believe. Down 14 still with 3:14 to go here in this third quarter.
So they'll take over at the 34, down 2 scores. Here's Pollard weaving his way up the middle. Still going. They can't bring him down. Now they do. But again, Luke, we talked about maybe kind of those 3-4 yard gains, those runs up the middle in the first half.
Yeah.
Might kind of open some things later on. I think Pollard maybe kind of starting to wear this defense down, maybe just a touch.
Yeah, I'm hoping we kind of see the arm of Green coming up here. He threw a few deep ones in the first half before he went out with injury, but I haven't seen it in the second half yet.
Another short gain there on first down. And Rayford at the bottom of your screen, and then also over there,
Jenkins.
Yeah, is Jenkins as well. Again, haven't seen Green throw a ton since coming back into the game. He will here. A little screen action onto the far side. Pass is caught, and virtually no gain there on second down. Darion Mays on the catch.
Yeah, we talked about Mays a lot in pregame. Haven't really talked about him offensively, mainly due to his quarterback kind of being out. But we've got the hurry-up offense kind of slowed down of Peoria High right here. 3rd and 7 coming up here with 1:45 to go.
It's another big one. Green runs up the middle. And again, looked like Marquell Letcher got to him pretty quickly and tripped him up. So it's going to be a 4th and short. And Luke, again, as time kind of winds down, Peoria High has to convert on one of these 4th down conversions eventually.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen them convert yet, but they get to 3rd and long. They just try to get it to a manageable length. And 4th and 3 definitely is a manageable position for you if you're Peoria High.
They'll run a little kind of around play as Melvin Jenkins, and a big hit laid on the sideline. But I think he might have got enough for the first down. That's almost the same play they ran for that touchdown back in the first half.
Yeah, that was Malik Given-Smith who laid that hit there too, so.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Jenkins took a lick, but at least picked up the first down to the 45.
Yeah, Jenkins was moving too, so the faster the player's going usually means the bigger the hit. And Malik Given-Smith is not a slow guy either, so.
He is not, again, one of many two-way players we see here tonight, especially in the secondary and wide receivers. Green handoff to Pollard right away is blown up. What a play. I think that was Cade Gonzalez again. How about him and McMillan coming off the bench to make some big tackles tonight? That one just had no chance there, and a loss of 2 makes it 2nd and 12. Now handoff. Pollard has some lead blocks and a nice run there. Sets up a 3rd and manageable. Luke, I've noticed the last few plays, not many deep safeties for Normal West. Kind of a little bit kind of how Peoria High plays it as well.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if and when maybe they'll take a deep shot.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for this coming up here. You're right, not another deep safety. Kind of just playing another linebacker position almost, expecting the run.
Green is going to keep this one, sold it very well. He's still up and tackled at the 30. Another big tackle by Given Smith on the sideline, but that will do it for the third quarter. Normal West scores a touchdown. Chase Senna, a beautiful touchdown to C.J. Payton, but again, can't count Peoria High out. Right back after this on CIProud.com.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Looking for a getaway close to home? Discover Mackinac Valley Vineyard, wine country in your own backyard. Sip handcrafted wines on the wraparound deck. Take in stunning views of the rolling countryside and make memories that last a lifetime. From relaxing afternoons to lively weekend nights, there's always something happening, like outdoor concerts, festivals, and private events under the stars. Come for the wine, stay for the experience. Visit MackinacValleyVineyard.com to see what's on our calendar.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
Fourth quarter has arrived at Peoria Stadium, and it's been a barn burner so far between Normal West and Peoria High. West trying to get to 3-2 on the season, and Peoria High trying to get to 4-1. As we get set here for this fourth quarter, the Lions' offense has looked a little bit more revitalized here, Luke.
Yeah, a little bit. We've seen a lot of good run plays here from Pollard, which was what we expected coming into the game. And I'm just waiting for them to try and take the top off of this West defense with the no safety lined up back there, like you said, John.
And both defenses kind of look similar. Again, a lot of, those matchups, a lot of just kind of one-on-ones here tonight. We saw Normal West win some of those earlier with Baskins in that first quarter. Again, he has over 100 receiving yards, tonight. No official stats, but I would venture to guess we don't have a 100-yard rusher on either side so far.
I think Malik Given-Smith is bleeding. That's why he just ran off the field. The ref saw him on the other side, and he was forced to run off. So maybe they target that side there with Given-Smith being off.
Kanoa Hosea coming in to replace MGS here on this 1st and 10. Green looking to throw deep, looking for Darion Mays. Touchdown Lions.
And there we go. We finally see the arm of Green, and it pays off in a touchdown. Great catch there by Mays. And the tradition of the lights right there. Pretty cool stuff from Peoria High as we finally see that offense come through. And a great throw there from Green.
Well, we talked about them wanting to go deep.
Yep.
And it happened soon enough.
Yeah, and I was talking about how Malik Given-Smith was off, and maybe they go for that. It was actually the other side they went to, and Mays was open for the touchdown.
Another great catch there and kind of some tight coverage. That gets Peoria High back to within a score. We'll see just exactly how close after this 2-point attempt. Handoff up the middle to Tarion Pollard. He got it. 6-point game.
And some life here for Peoria High. What a possession by them. Some great resilience. Facing a lot of adversity tonight, but they're sticking in it. And the struggles of the fourth quarter are coming through once again here early for Normal West.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they just kind of shake those fourth quarter demons that played them last week against Bloomington, where they led by 17 in the second half, and then lost 31-27 on the road. So we'll see. Again, Peoria High, I think the momentum is certainly in their favor, but again, if West can get an answer, then I think that really could be huge. This drive is, I can't understand how big this next drive is here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, this is a make-or-break drive here for the Wildcats. If they score here, they put a lot of pressure on Peoria High to come back and make something happen. we could see a little bit of running clock strategy here for Normal West for sure.
Again, they've done a pretty solid job of keeping their offense out there for at least a somewhat extended period of time, as Pisano's onside kick goes almost directly laterally. It's going to go pretty much almost backwards.
I think he might have lost a yard on that onside kick.
You don't see that every day, folks. A kickoff going -1 yards. That's just the beauty of football and the way the ball bounces sometimes. But that one they may need to workshop their onside kicks just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So West takes over at the 39-yard line. A lot of things that haven't been on our bingo card tonight, Nick. 5 quarterbacks we've seen in the game. Some injuries, players coming back, and we've seen just about it all here through 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's right. If you were making a checklist of some of the craziest things you would have seen tonight, you're almost there filling up that checklist.
Here's a handoff to Mulbauer on first down. And okay, push back. They're getting physical on the lines, Luco. One crazy thing I noted, this has happened now 2 times at high school sporting events in the last week in Central Illinois. Last week, Fieldcrest, a smaller Heart of Central Illinois Conference team, was taking on Leroy, and the lights went out with 4 minutes to go in the game. Couldn't get him back on. Game was called. It was 33-0 Leroy, so outcome was kind of already decided. But a soccer game in Morton was also called earlier this week because the lights went out there too, so hopefully they can stay on tonight. Senate's in some trouble, trying to escape, throwing it downfield, jump ball caught by West. Malik Gibbons-Smith still on his feet. Unbelievable. That's just what Malik Gibbons-Smith is, and West goes back up by 2 scores.
What a play. That ball was not intended for him. That ball was intended for Efoy Baskins, and Senate kind of just threw it up there. Just hoping for something to happen, and something happened, folks. Gibbons-Smith kind of plays defense on that ball. That was going to be an interception, and he does a great job of staying up and going all the way for the end zone. I was just about to say, bad decision by Senate there to kind of just let that one go, but pays off in the end for the Wildcats. What a play.
How about him staying on his feet? I mean, there were multiple Lions in the area, but he just shook all of them off. Sends point after is good. It's back up to a 2-score lead for the Wildcats, 34-22. Well, we said this is a make or break drive. Maybe not exactly how they drew it up, but a phenomenal play.
Yeah, and if you're Peoria High, you're almost like happy they scored right away, because if they're going to score, might as well have it be right away. That leaves you with a lot more time on the clock. But what a throw from Senate. I've been super impressed by his arm tonight for sure. I was a little worried of him being a backup QB, but he has impressed me for sure tonight.
Not many backup quarterbacks will throw 4 touchdowns in their starting debut, at least on the varsity level, and that is just what Chase Senate has done tonight for Normal West. They lead it by 13 now.
Yeah, and even more impressive, too, this Peoria High super experienced, well-valued secondary that he's playing against. I mean, this is one of the most dangerous secondaries in this conference, and almost a no-fly zone. But he's done a great job picking them apart tonight.
He has done a phenomenal job so far. We'll see what Green and company have to do to respond. 2 touchdowns in the last 49 seconds. So we talked about maybe not the highest scoring game. Well, I still have a lot of 4th quarter fireworks. There's Kyrion Woodard on the kick return. He's cutting it back. He's still going across the 30. Woodard's still going. Flag flies in. Woodard still down to the 40. Peoria High's jumping up and down, but I'm not sure if they will be, depending on what this flag is.
Yeah, I think this is coming back. This is thrown in the backfield.
I think it was launched.
Yeah.
Great return there from Kyrion Woodard, the junior that a lot of people in that program are very high on. But we will see what this flag is.
I think this is coming back.
See both the referees there, and yes, it is coming back.
The ref got taken down on the sideline there, that sideline ref.
Man, everyone's getting hurt. No one's safe here tonight.
Yeah. So kind of an unfortunate momentum swing there. The Peoria Lions kind of took back that momentum there with that drive, that first drive of this half, the first touchdown of this quarter, excuse me, and then West responds with their own touchdown on some crazy play, and then Peoria tries to get that momentum back with a large kick return, and it's taken back with a flag.
And it's going to be a big flag as well. The Lions going back. I didn't hear the official call, Luke. Again, the referees, unfortunately, are facing away from us, so it makes it hard for us up here on the other side of the bleachers to see what it is. But Peoria High will start this drive on the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and we see a safety here lined up for West. So in response to that passing touchdown, we've got some air coverage.
That's Keshawn Jones back there sitting at the 25. It might be a little bit more urgency here for the Lions, but Pollard's has some good holes in the second half as well. Green steps in, takes a snap, it's a handoff. Pollard going to get brought down there.
Another big hit there. These Wildcats, they're smaller in stature, but they hit hard. That's for sure.
Especially given Smith, too, with some big hits on that far sideline lately. It's a 2nd and 8 here from the 15. Now here's Green out of the shotgun. He's got 4 wide receivers. Pump fakes, in some trouble. Green's going to get going down. A huge sack from the West defensive line. And it looks like that might have been Cade Gonzalez again. No, that was Lavelle Haynes Davis, 81, it appears. Everyone coming to play on this Wildcats D-line. It's 3rd and 14 now from the 9. Green rolling out of the pocket. Scanning, gonna throw one off balance. Coming back to it is Mays. Waiting on the signal. I believe he caught it inbounds.
I think so. I was looking for the sideline ref for the call. I don't think he made it.
They're still discussing it at the 40. If so, that's a heck of a job by Mays adjusting to the ball while it was in the air, and that will be complete. So 32 yards on 3rd and 14.
What a play. What a job by Green to escape that pressure, too, and throw that ball downfield, and what a play by Mays to stay in bounds on the catch.
Kind of was a floater there, thrown on the run, but Mays did a good job coming back to it. Green kept this one, faked out the defense. He's going to get to about midfield before he's wrapped up, so a nice pickup of about 8 there. And you still have enough time, Luke. I don't think Peoria High needs to be in panic mode on offense. They just need to trust what works.
Yeah, and Green is so dynamic when he gets the ball to the outside. It looks like he could just break through at any time. We haven't seen it tonight, but I'm on the edge of my seat and waiting for it to happen for sure. I think we're going to see some more throws here for sure.
Green did have over 100 rush yards and a touchdown back in week 2. That was a 58-31 win over PND. Natarion Pollard still not going down. Pickup there of about 15 or so. Now Pollard probably is trending close to about 100 yards on the night.
Yeah, for sure. He's had a solid night. He's been really the bright spot of this Peoria High offense in a game where it hasn't been up to their standard level for offensive output.
Here's another handoff. Steady dive of Natarion Pollard. That time not much there. And on the tackle there for West, looked like number 64. That's Jefferson Tutter. So, I mean, we've seen close to 10 probably defensive linemen in the game for West here so far tonight. Here's a kind of a motion handoff. It's Melvin Jenkins again. They like that play, and it's going to bring them good tidings of first down.
Yeah, if I was Coach Montgomery, I'd run that like 4 times in possession. It seems like every time Jenkins gets the ball in those jet sweeps, it's probably about 8 yards. And great job coming off the outside there by Jenkins, showing that speed once again.
So Lions are driving now, approaching the red zone. 8.5 to go here in the 4th quarter, trying to get this back to a 1-score game. Keep an eye on Mays at the bottom of your screen, but no, they'll keep it with Green. Right into the near side. They can't get a hand on him. That was Baskins just trying to kind of grasp his jersey, and Green was just too fast.
And some stuff after the play there. Baskins gave him a shoulder, and Green let him know that was not okay. And great there play by Green. I'm pretty sure that was a read option. Pollard was going to get blown up right away if he would have handed that one off. So he kept it, tucked it, took it for some good yardage.
And a first down, or rather, not a first down, 2nd and 3 here as Pollard chugging down to near the 10. That will be a first down. And that was a good RPO back on that first down from the Lions. They run it a decent amount. They're kind of going a little bit faster here now, Luke. No huddle offense. Here's Green out of the shotgun. Going to hand off again to Pollard. Running right into a swarm of white shirts. Cade Gonzalez and Romeo McCollum there and on the tackle. McCollum also a two-way starter, at left tackle on the O-line too for the Wildcats.
Yeah, great job just stopping Pollard there. I know it's not a tough task, but we've seen him. Great job. We talked about it earlier, like gang tackling by this West defense. They've been doing a great job of that all night.
Here's a 2nd and 11 now from, and the scoreboard is, I believe it's wrong. Here's Green, though, looking for the end zone, and that's going to be a pass interference. Tyquan Page was all over the intended target. It might have been Mays. It was.
Mays. Yep. Yeah, that was pretty clear. I was going to say something about that as it happened. And ref throws a flag, and that's the first time we've seen some up-in-the-air type of ones, but that's the first time we've seen a PI call tonight.
Yeah, at least a defensive PI call.
Yeah.
There
was
the OPI. Right. I almost forgot about that, too. But that should give Peoria High half the distance to the goal. I'll be at about the 5.5 yard line or so. Really need to score here on 2nd down. $7:12 to go in this 4th quarter. Who gets the call? It's Pollard, and he is stuffed yet again. Still kind of some talking going on between Haynes Davis there and Pollard. They were kind of hugging for a while, but I'm sure the words exchanged maybe not have been so nice. But
a lot of exchanging of Christmas cards after the plays for some of these plays. But that's what comes with rivalries, you know. These guys know each other, are familiar, and that's kind of what happens.
Here's a big 3rd down for Green. He's going to look to pass. He gets it complete into the end zone. Kyrion Woodard, or was he out?
I think that was a touchdown.
That was a touchdown. Woodard gets it by the skin of his teeth, and the Lions are back within 7.
Yeah, he was a little unsure as we were. He was like throwing his hands up like, hey, maybe is that a touchdown? I don't know if I went out or not. But what a play there by Green again, going to the air and going to the touchdown. Good catch, way to stay up there by the receiver. And so they will go for 2 here to make it a 5-point deficit here for Peoria.
Of note, again, there was a 2-point try that was stopped earlier. If Peoria High would have got that one, and if they get this one, would it be a 3-point game? Here's a handoff. Green, no, he's keeping it. Still on his feet into the end zone. 35-30 with 6.5 to go. Strap in, folks. These last 6:30 are going to be absolutely wild. Nice drive, though, for the Lions.
Yeah, must-see TV for sure. These past few drives, in my opinion, have been pretty entertaining. And just, it's like a heavyweight fight going on right now. Punch after punch after punch. One team is not backing down, and we see right there Peoria responds. Now it's on the Wildcats. What can they do with this possession?
Peoria High going to have to dig deep, get a defensive stop after their offense did the job there. And Green, it's been a night and day difference when he's been on the field tonight, right? You know, when he was off kind of that 2nd quarter, you know, they weren't really passing the ball. He couldn't really do those RPOs that much like they did twice late in that drive and on that 2-point conversion. So again, Peoria High right back to what they're used to. And now we'll see what they can do here with this onside kick. And the downside of these onside kicks is that if they don't recover it, West gets pretty good field position.
Yeah, that's high risk, high reward type stuff right there. But the
Pisano's going to send this one down, actually. Going to be brought in by Keshawn Jones at the 24. There goes Keshawn Jones. Runs through an alley of Lions at the 50. But a good return there on a kick that didn't have much hang time at all.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I thought we might have seen Malik Given-Smith there on that return, because that's kind of his forte is the kick returns. We haven't seen him at all on kick returns tonight due to the onside kicks, but what a run there.
Again, I said it when I was on WMBD's CI Sports Zone podcast, which again airs live every Monday at 2 p.m. I hop on with Thomas Garverick, Christopher Huselig. We talk all things Central Illinois High School football in a short amount of time. So definitely tune into that. Again, WMBD can watch it live and also on demand as well. But I said Malik Given-Smith is this area's Devin Hester. I mean, his kick return prowess has just been absolutely phenomenal as he gets the call here and he gets pushed back by a fired-up Lions defense. Givens with 2 kick return touchdowns this year, including one for 85 yards. Last week, he took the opening kickoff of the season, back 90-something yards in their first game of the year against P&D.
Yeah, that's one way to start your season, and he is exceptional at it. Most people get 2 kick return touchdowns in their career. Not many people get 2 in one season. So, and the season's not even halfway through. So, we're going to see more of that from him for sure.
We are. It is kind of hard to believe that we are at about the halfway point of the season. And again, Luke, it's kind of looking ahead for both of these teams. Let's look at kind of the upcoming schedule. First with Normal West. Again, this is kind of the last marquee game they have the rest of the way out. I think a big key for them is just, again, not to try and just coast through these last 4 games, still do their game plan, do the fundamentals, but some winnable games for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about that kind of deceiving 2-2 start. I mean, their first 2 games were really tough, and a great win, or great 4 games were really tough. A great win against Peoria Notre Dame in that first game, and a great game here, a big win for them if they would be able to pull this one out. But, yeah, some games that are definitely winnable down the stretch.
Non-conference game at Waubonsee Valley next week. Let's take a look at Peoria High's schedule as we have midfield short in a second. Both head coaches out there talking with the referees, but for Peoria's schedule, they have Richwoods next week, Champaign Central, probably 2 pretty winnable games, but those last 2, Luke, against 2 teams that are currently undefeated in the Big 12, Bloomington and Normal Community.
Yeah, and they're going to come down those last 2 games. If you're going to tune into some of those, tune into some of the high school football, those are the 2 games that you want to watch. I mean, the 2 great teams, and they had a great start of their season, 3-1, and trying to make it 4-1 here on a comeback. But they have aspirations that are pretty high. They want to win state, and that's where it ends for them. And to have those type of aspirations, you got to win a game like this.
Most definitely. Yeah, I talked with Aaron Montgomery before the season. He said, we shoot every year to play football at the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's the state finals down at Hancock Stadium. So West will take over here on 2nd and 10. Senate looking to throw. He's got Mulbauer. No, that's Carmona out of the backfield. He gets strung out and tackled hard at the 44. Nice little play there to pick up a little bit. It's going to be a 3rd and medium.
Yeah, that was a great play. That's something that we've seen 1 or 2 screen passes from this Normal West offense total, and that was a good one that worked. A little misdirection. Got him going off to the right there.
It's going to be about a 3rd and about 5 or so after that pass from Senate to Carmona. Again, Senate, the backup quarterback, the sophomore, with 4 touchdown passes tonight. And we expected to see Drew Mangrum. We're told he was probably going to be the starter, but it's been Senate tonight. What does he do here on 3rd down with a Peoria High defense that's hungry for a stop? Senate drops back, will throw, got Mulbauer, 1st down Wildcats. He's still going. Mulbauer cuts it back. Touchdown West. Senate's got 5 on the night.
Oh my gosh, this West team just keeps you hanging on. They get down to this 3rd down, you're thinking, hey, this drive could be stalled, and they get this big play. What a throw from Senate. Mulbauer on that left sideline, way to stay in bounds, beat that first defender, and then shout out to Malik Given-Smith, a great block, and then it was all up to Mulbauer after that, weaving in and out of those defenders for the touchdown to make it 41-30.
What a play there from Cody Mulbauer, who again had 2 long touchdown receptions last week, 61 and 33 yards. That one from about 44 yards. So Mulbauer, not typically known as a receiving back, but he is really starting to show that he could be a big weapon in this pass game, especially when you have so many wideouts you need to cover if you're facing Normal West.
For sure. You get him the ball and out of the backfield, he is quick. He turns the corner fast. Pretty fast foot speed. And
Mulbauer, we talked about some track athletes. Melvin Jenkins, obviously very impressive sprinter for Peoria High. But Cody Mulbauer, also one of the conference's best sprinters as well. I mean, he's right up there. Maybe not quite sub-11, at least officially, that he's posted yet during the track season. But he is, again, a very, very fast guy for the Wildcats. You saw why right there. So if you're Peoria High, again, it's tough to swallow because your offense has done their job, but their defense hasn't been able to get a stop when they've needed to this fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it looks like the Wildcats will go for 2 here.
Try and make this a 13-point game. They're up 11 now. Yeah, they will go for 2. So a bit of an interesting call here. So we'll see what Sennett does. He's got Mulbauer to his left. Peyton at the bottom of your screen. Givens in the slot. Sennett rolls out. Looking to find someone. It is caught. Malik Givens-Smith makes it a 43-30 game here with 4:32 to go.
What a great play call right there. Getting Sennett some time to throw, set his feet, and Malik Givens-Smith is wide open. 43-30 is your score. Now we're going to see the Lions really with the backs against their wall, backs against the wall. What are they going to do here?
Now this is where we are going to see the Peoria High offense at what they do best. Go fast, air it out, get some big plays, some big blocks. And I'm glad you highlighted that block from Givens-Smith on that touchdown because that was a big one.
Yeah, it was.
But Peoria High is going to need some big chunk plays. They haven't got many of them tonight, but they're going to need one here. They're going to need that and a stop, maybe an onside kick recovery. It's tough being down 2 scores with under 5 to play.
And if anybody's prepared in the state of Illinois to score fast, it is this team for sure. So give them a better chance than you usually would with any other team.
And it's an offense that put up 76 last week. That was the second most of any team in the state. There was one team up in the Chicago area that scored 77. Just got them by 1 point. So again, Peoria High, we'll see their offense here after this kick return. As brought in, juggled by Zapata. He's got it, now cutting it back. Maybe has some blocks here. Zapata at the 30, the 40. Brought down from behind near midfield. A good return there from Zapata, who they call the man they call Wheezy.
Yeah, that was a great run there. Thought it was going to be stopped short around the 20-yard line. He did a great job of cutting all the way back to that right side he started on. And a great run. Got tripped up by his own blocker, I believe, there.
And we talked about earlier, cutting it back could be a big risk, but that time they got the big reward there.
That's right.
Not quite 6, but good starting position here for Green and company. Again, keep an eye on Darion Mays. He's matched up at the bottom of your screen with Tyquan Page, so maybe not quite as much the Givens-Smith-Mays matchup we've been expecting so far, at least on this side of the ball. Movement before the snap. This might be on the Lions.
Don't know what this is, but I saw before on the little movement by Baskins, he slid over in front of Mays there. So I think Baskins has kind of been the guy on Mays. Maybe that's what they're looking at. Oh, nope.
And it's going to be a flag on the Lions, a false start for him. They'll put him at the 45. But again, we talk a lot about Mays too, but again, can't forget about Jalen Rayford. We haven't called his name a ton tonight. He's been a bit quiet. He's also another wideout that they'll have to watch again. They got Givens-Smith matched up with him at the top of your screen. Hand off to Pollard, shot out of a cannon, but runs right into Enrico White McMillan, the junior, standing 6'3", 265. Throws him down back at the 49.
Yeah, that was a great tackle there. And didn't expect to see a run play very much there in this possession. But, I mean, if your running back's going to get 6 yards of carry, just like Pollard has basically tonight, getting back to that 2nd and 9, this is a manageable distance for a 4-down team.
Green dropping back. Option one wasn't open. Can he tuck it in and run? He will for a few before he's ran out by, guess who? White McMillan. Sets up third and medium here. Good news for Peoria is that stopped the clock.
Yeah, you're going to want to tell your receivers to start trying to get out of bounds here. If you're Coach Montgomery, you could see the awareness by Green there. He immediately went to the outside knowing that getting out of bounds is just as important as getting yards here.
So 3rd and 6 officially. Lions need a big play, at the very least, a first down. Green fakes the run. He's going to look out to throw. He's got someone. Is complete. Darion Mays. First down inside the 30. West tries to rip it out. They're unsuccessful. And you see Breon Green making another good throw on the run.
Yeah, that was a great play. Fakes it out to the left, rolls back to the right, looking, and Mays was standing there wide open for a little bit. Looked a little bit kind of like a zone there by West, and he was just kind of standing there open in the zone, and Green hits him right in the chest.
Clock now running after the first down. 3:20 to go. Pollard still going. Flag down on the play. Pollard still managed to stay up for a while.
Guy is exceptional at not going down. He just keeps standing no matter what.
I mean, he's just giving piggyback rides to the defense at times. We'll see what this flag is. There have been a decent amount of flags on both sides here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of pre-snap flags.
They're going to wave that one off. But back to your point.
Yeah, a lot of pre-snap flags, not a lot of stuff like pass interference or holding or anything like that. It's a lot of just false start, offside, a bunch of stuff like that.
So if Peoria High can score again, they don't necessarily have – they probably will onside, but they have 3 timeouts to work with. But first you got to get in the end zone. Here's Pollard running to the right side. Still going. Down to the 10. Clock approaching 3 minutes to play. Again, these plays are good, Luke. Not quite the big plays, but
yeah,
if they can just kind of keep on going and score, never know what can happen.
I bet you if you're Coach Montgomery, you want to try and score before 2 minutes here.
Pollard gets about half of what he needed, down to the 5. And if you're Peoria High, you got to start going fast. I mean, we're inside 3 minutes now. Okay, they did get the first down, so the clock stops momentarily. Now it's back rolling again. And if Peoria High is able to score, we'll see what Pierre Pisano may be able to dial up on the onside kick. Green is going to keep it. He's going to get it. Touchdown, Breon Green, showing off with his legs. And the Lions get it back to 7.
Yeah, Breon Green's basically unstoppable in that red zone area with his legs. We've seen it 3 times tonight. He's running for a touchdown. And you give him some good blocks, that's basically a guaranteed touchdown for a dynamic quarterback like Breon Green. And cutting this lead to 7, and they're definitely going to go for 2. That's what they do here at Peoria High. Pretty interesting on that drive, sticking with Pollard, even when the clock is against them.
Showed that they didn't need to throw a deep ball to score quickly. Green's going to keep it again. He's going to run it in for the 2. Breon Green, the Lamar Jackson of Central Illinois, is back to a 5-point game. So teams just trading touchdowns here in this 4th quarter, Luke.
Yeah.
Now this is what it all comes down to, this next possession here for Normal West.
Yeah,
Peoria High needs to get a stop.
Yeah, Green is so elusive, so shifty, so fast. He's just kind of impossible to bring it down. And now it comes down to the defense, which is, I don't know. Do you think we'll see an onside kick here? Maybe try and kick a normal kickoff here, try and sacrifice some of that field position, maybe try and help your defense out a little bit.
Well, again, unless you recover this kick, unless you are very confident you recover it, I wonder if you just kick it again, maybe a bit deeper, just to see if you can, again, play the field position game. You got 3 timeouts. If you can force the 3 and out, force the punt, that sets you up in better field goal position. Or not field. Peoria High doesn't kick field goals, but better field position is what I meant. I think hell would freeze over the next time Peoria High would attempt a field goal. Here's the onside kick. It's a bouncer and brought in. That's a heck of a grab there by the hands team and Ryan Carmona.
Yeah, that's
that had a big hop.
Yeah, that's a confident play right there. kind of risky jumping out for the ball like that. That doesn't go into his hands. That's a potential danger zone for West, but now it's a clock game.
Again, West, they've done the little things right tonight. Again, they haven't allowed an onside kick recovery from the Lions. Obviously, this Peoria High defense has been, scoring pretty well here in the second half. But again, Chase said it, has led his team to 5 touchdown passes tonight. Cody Mulbauer, the latest of them. But here, Luke, I'm not sure if we'll be seeing much passing.
Yep.
Here's Given Smith in the Wildcat. Gonna run it up the middle. Gonna just keep his head down. Very low center of gravity there. Kept him on his feet for about 5.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to not jinx West here, but another thing that they've done is not turn the ball over. I don't think we've seen a turnover from West. We've seen 2 from Peoria High. So keeping those turnovers down has been a great way to keep that score up and keep leading this game. And I really hope I didn't jinx them here. That's not my intention.
We shall see. 2nd and 6 now. It's going to be another Wildcat with Givens. Clock rolling down inside of 2 minutes. Peoria High does not call timeout here. Now Givens gets pushed back. That's a big push from the defense. Looked like that was Julian Lowe, the middle linebacker. We haven't called his name much tonight, but that's a huge play there, and it's timeout, Aaron Montgomery's squad.
Yeah, speaking of Aaron Montgomery, Julian Lowe is one of those guys that he has been really impressed with in these recent weeks, and that's our first time I think we've called his name, and a great stop there. That's a big, big play, probably the biggest play of the game coming up on this next snap. So 3rd and 4 after this timeout.
So 3rd and 4, we've seen Givens in the Wildcat the last 2 snaps. Again, we've seen 5 quarterbacks this game. Breon Green, Demarion Zapata, Chase Sennett, Malik Givens.
Yeah, I think even Mulbar got a snap in there at some point.
Yeah, he
too.
might have as well. So who will take the snap and what will they do? Again, Given Smith has so much speed, not the biggest guy, but he can run it right up the middle.
Yeah, Sennett did not come off the bench there. I think it's just going to go to Mulbar as they are
this
loading up the box here.
Heavy set formation. Nathan Fisham said this game would be a cage fight in a phone booth. We're going to see it here on 3rd and 4. Mulbauer gets the direct snap. He's going to run it, and he is not going to get it. 4th down. Coming up here for the Lions, Kendrick Owens and many others there on the stop. And I'm assuming Peoria High likely did call timeout there, and a huge decision now for Nathan Fincham.
Yep.
With 4th and about 4.
Everyone watching this game knew where that ball was going, knew exactly what was going to happen, and so did Peoria High, and they did a great job standing in there, taking the punch, and just stood in there stopping that run.
Nathan Fincham. Big play call here again. Can his team hold on to another second half lead? Again, they led by 17 on the road last week at undefeated Bloomington and lost the lead. They've been in control and in the lead all tonight. They have not trailed in this game. 4th and 4. We'll see what they do. Peoria High is sending a man back. They may play it safe, but again, 132 is a lot of time for this Peoria High offense.
Yeah, that's Mays back there, so gonna have to worry about the return, but we've seen the punts here by West be a little short every single time.
Here's Jake Haserick. They will punt on 4th down. Snap is away. Haserick's kick. Another solid-looking one. Bounces at the 12 and down at the 15. There by West Special Teams. So here we go, Luke. Breon Green with a chance to give his team the first lead of the game. Down by 5. A touchdown puts them ahead and likely could win it. They have 85 yards to go.
Yeah, this is what it comes down to. This is what you practice for. This is what you put all the work in for every single week. It comes down to plays like this. Touchdown or nothing.
This is high school football at its best. I mean, what a game we have seen, and glad you're still with us here on CIproud.com. Tell your friends and family if they want to watch to tune in immediately. This one is coming down to the final drive. 1st and 10. Here's Green out of the shotgun, looking to throw, looking for a deep ball. There's some contact, and that's going to be an easy pass interference call on West.
Yeah, that's giving Smith over there, too. That wasn't Mays that he was on.
He was on Rayford.
But he tripped him up there on that sideline, giving Smith, we know, is a physical guy, and got a little too overly physical. Kind of could have been by accident there, but the feet got entangled.
Again, it's so hard to not draw a PI or be physical in this moment.
Yep.
But that will give Peoria High an extra 15, now at the 30, with 1:22 to go. Homecoming weekend for the Lions, looking for some magic. Green, gonna air it out, looking long, just over the head of Darion Mays. Page was right there. That would have been a massive one for the Lions.
That's great defense right there on their best receiver by Page. Bringing it to him, and when it matters most, just some great defense.
So again, all things considered, you can deal with that if you're Peoria High. 2nd and 10 now. We still have 1:16 to go with also one timeout in your back pocket. West also with one timeout. Trips right for Green. He's going to hand this one off. No, he's going to keep it. He still has it. Trying to make something happen. Still going and push out of bounds by Given Smith. Nice job by Green, just making a positive out of a negative.
Yeah, what a play there. I think the play might have been for Pollard, but Green having to make something up on his own, and we know he's good at that. We've seen that all night. And a good rush right there, and a way to push him out of bounds by Given Smith.
Good awareness from Green, too, not saying, hey, we don't need to try and cut it upfield, make a big play. Probably not going to happen. Just run the sideline, get out of bounds, and stop the clock with 1:06 to go. 3rd and 4. Lions need to get the 40. Green's going to keep it again, going up the middle. Going to run into a West wall. Going to set up a big 4th down.
And a timeout here, for sure. 55 seconds.
And Rico White McMillan was one of the guys there. Keegan Brown, Luke, again, this outcome still very much in the air.
Yeah.
But if West is able to hold on, if we had to pick a game MVP, I think it goes to every single player that played on the Normal West defensive line tonight.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Pollard's had a great game for sure, but this defensive line for West has really stood tall despite all the advantages that they are missing out on, and have just stood tall, stood strong, and been the leader for this West team. And I just want to take us back about an hour and a half when we were talking, hey, this score at halftime doesn't really reflect who these teams are. Both of these teams are high-powered, high offense, and they showed us in the second half, hey, we're still there. We can still score. 43-38 is not a score line that I expected to see tonight.
It has been the best game that we have seen, at least I have seen. We have called in our WMBD Games of the Week so far here in Week 5. Peoria High trying to get to 4-1 on the year. Normal West looking to make one more stand here on 4th and 2 from the 38. Green is in the shotgun. Man in motion, that's Melvin Jenkins. They will not run that kind of reverse play. Now Jenkins goes back. Carmona shifting on the defensive side. Here's Green looking to throw. 4th and 2. Catch is, I believe it was made. What a grab there from Peoria High. Looks like that was Jalen Rayford.
That looked like, from our angle, it hit the turf, but
it was
what
so
a job
close
by Rayford to get his hands under this. Now we got to be some super hurry-up offense here if you're Peoria, as that clock is leaking right now.
Clock is running. The refs stop it. Again, the chain gang has to get set up. The chain gang here on West sideline was a little bit slow in moving it, so I wonder if they'll...
I think they're going to do a runoff, maybe.
Yeah, the clock inside of 40 seconds now. Lions have 55 yards to go. Green looking to throw. In some trouble. Goes down. That's a huge play for West and an absolute killer for the Lions. They may only have time for one more play. What do the Lions have here? This might be their last gasp. 12 seconds to go.
Everybody's just got to go deep here.
Green escapes the pocket. Has room, time to throw. He's going to run, go to the sideline. He's out of bounds. He could have still maybe kept going, but I don't mind that call. He got out with 1 second to go.
That is, it's going to come down to one play with 1 second.
My.
Good
How about Breon Green? The advantage was he was running in the direction of where the scoreboard was, saw the clock, got out with 1 second left.
Yeah.
Peoria High has 38 yards to go.
Yeah, that is a high IQ play if I've ever seen one. You're right, John. He probably could have kept going and probably wouldn't have been the same result that he wanted. Getting out of bounds with 1 second. Going to come down to this throw right here.
West, they're sending 5 guys back. Prevent defense. Can't let anything get over your heads here. Nathan Fincham, head coach for Normal West, tells the fans to get up on their feet. We'll get a timeout.
Flag.
All right, flag.
Flag down.
On Peoria High. So that kind of pops you out of the balloon. Here we go again. The game will be decided on the final play here at Peoria Stadium tonight.
You're going to see the arm of Green here. Can he really throw into the end zone here?
From the 43. Green in trouble. Throws it up. Not going to happen. West picks it off and they hold on to win. The Wildcats shake their second half demons and pull off their biggest win of the year on the road.
Yeah, what a win. Great resilience there by the Wildcats to pull this victory out.
And again, it was the defensive line bringing pressure. They sent a lot of guys back, but their D-line still got to Breon Green, and that's what won them the game. That is one of the best performances, I think, by just a defensive unit that I have seen in some time. And West wins at 43-38. And what did we say, Luke? These Wildcats bounce back every single time. They still have not lost back-to-back games in the Nathan Fincham era.
Yeah, I mean, that is just an exceptional win, and a team in Peoria High that we thought coming in might walk away with a win here. But great play by West on both sides of the ball, and I just want to give a shout out to Sennett, the backup quarterback, stepping into a big game, not having much experience, and just throwing 4 touchdown passes, leading his team to victory, along with Malik Given-Smith and all the other weapons on that side. And then, obviously, you're right, John, the defensive line has to be the MVP of this game for West.
What a win for Normal West as they move to 3-2 on the year. They beat Peoria High for the second straight year. And again, both these programs are just among the best every single year. Not many teams can beat Peoria High back-to-back seasons, but Normal West just proved why, and they answered a lot of doubts about their team this season with this win here tonight. So much to break down. We will be right back after a very short break here on CIProud.com.
Pride runs deep in Central Illinois, and now it's time to crown the ultimate high school mascot. 36 schools, 1 champion. The CI Proud Mascot Bracket is here, sponsored by Peoria Production Solutions. Who's got your vote?
Every Sunday morning, we shine a light on the stories that often go untold, but matter the most. Stories told by the people who live it, rooted in community, rich in story. Join me, Thomas Garbrick, Sunday mornings right here at 7 on WMBD, Central Illinois Proud.
Back at Peoria Stadium, and Lions going over some things, but look at the smiles on the faces of Normal West. This is a win, Luke, that I think can really help kind of turn around their season. They played such a tough schedule the first 4 weeks, and again, it really tested them, and they proved that they are a team not to be taken lightly tonight.
Yeah, a great shot right there of them holding up their quarterback, Sennett. Once again, a shout out to him. And I just want to take you back to the first half to where we were dealing with some injuries, dealing with some stuff on both sides. We were like, hey, this is kind of not the game we expected. the second half sort of turned into the game that we expected, some high-powered offense, and Coach Fincham trying to want to go away from those big plays, but the second half was defined by big plays for West, and that's what was the life of their offense. Malik Given-Smith is a big play guy. He makes big plays on both sides, and he led his team to 43 points.
Again, but Chase Sennett, again, the sophomore backup quarterback, and what we believe to be his first varsity start, threw 5 touchdown passes tonight, 2 to Efoy Baskins in the first quarter, 1 to C.J. Payton in the third quarter. Kind of had he had one to Malik Given-Smith, and also kind of that jump ball one to Given-Smith was the jump ball, and then kind of that screen pass to Mulbauer that he took for a long gain. So again, Sennett did a phenomenal job. He was helped out big time by his playmakers, and just a massive, massive win for West. And again, their defensive line tonight, we talked about it so much, but I mean, we got to shout out all these guys. DJ Morgan, Markel Gibbs, Marquell Letcher, Keegan Brown, Enrico White McMillan, Cade Gonzalez, Lavelle Haynes Davis. We even saw, I think, Romeo McCollum and Jefferson Tutter. I mean, so many guys in that defensive line brought the pressure. And again, Peoria High still put up 38. A great showing for the Lions tonight. But that D-line really stepped up to the task in crunch time.
Yeah, and for Peoria High on the other side, you take away from this game, we dealt with some injuries in that first half, and that kind of hindered our success. But I want to go back to how great their run game was. I mean, Green was exceptional out of the backfield along with Pollard. We were talking about the defensive line. Pollard was kind of unstoppable all night, it seemed like. But it just came to the defensive line when they needed it the most, they stopped him. But Pollard was kind of automatic for 3 or 4 or 5 yards every single time he touched the ball. And Green, who came back from injury along with Pollard, was playing great down the stretch and is lights out in the red zone.
Definitely. Green had a 13-yard touchdown run, a 31-yard touchdown pass to Darion Mays. Also a 7-yard touchdown pass to Kyrion Woodard, plus a 5-yard rush on his own. So a tough loss, see him being consoled there on the field. It's a tough one for the Lions to swallow. On homecoming, they dropped to 3-2 on the year. You know, this Lions team, I think, wanted to go 9-0. Everyone wants to go 9-0.
Yeah.
This Lions team knew they can do it. Again, it's their second one-score loss of the season, but still just a very dangerous team. And I think this loss might even help them in the long run because, people see, they lost 2 games. But, I mean, this team, you cannot forget about them at all. They are still going to be very dangerous the rest of the way out.
Yeah, they can play with anybody, and that's for sure. With the talent that they have, with the speed, with the athletes that they have, they can play with anybody, and I don't want this game to take away from that fact.
Most definitely. Well, what a game we had tonight. 43-38, Normal West, your winner. Want to shout out all of our fantastic Clutch Sports Media crew tonight. Did a phenomenal job. Mark Wagner and John Shikoda, our producers tonight. Caden Sexton, our director. Patrice Cusick and Ryan Angulo behind our camera tonight. And for Luke Young, my broadcast partner, today was my birthday, my 25th birthday.
Yeah, John, I just want to cut you off there. Happy birthday. Everybody, happy birthday to John. Happy 25th birthday to John Michael.
I couldn't have wanted to spend my birthday surrounded by people I enjoy being around more than you guys, seeing some great football. I mean, this was all I could ask for. So we appreciate you two as well at home tuning in to watch tonight as well. This was a phenomenal win. Again, Normal West moves to 3-2. Peoria High falls to 3-2, 43-38, and a Big 12 classic at Peoria Stadium. So long, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next week in our WMBD Game of the Week. You gotta let me know if you're gonna cut to me on the camera, Caden.
Oh, man, dude, that scared the crap.
Oh, man, dude. Hey, that was a fun game, man.
All right, cameras, you guys are done. You can start.
Yeah.